It's the fourth stop of the 2025 National STOL Circuit as we return to the volcanic ash in the shadow of Mount St. Helens. Welcome to Moses Lake, Washington, where our pilots will follow up a spectacular lineup of airshow performers from all over the world, showcasing their stick and rudder skills for an amassing crowd. Get ready for National STOL at the Moses Lake Airshow. Many new competitors from Oregon Trail STOL will continue to put precious points on the board, including Ryan Melendez, DJ Holman, Rick Holman, and Jeff Vallon. Veteran competitor Dan Reynolds is sitting poised to break a couple of world records, and Hal Stockman is looking to give him a stiff competition by way of canards. Local brothers John and Mike Council promise to put on another show in their beautiful STOL machines, and for the first time in STOL competition sports on the big stage, use of an artificial turf runway might give competitors an unexpected advantage for short landings. Congratulations, you've made it to Washington. The winds are looking promising for some incredible unlimited class runs. The line is painted, helmets are being donned, we're cleared for takeoff. National STOL at the Moses Lake Airshow 2025 begins now.
And what's up, Av Geeks and STOL Freaks? My name's Ryan Dabrowski. To my left,
I'm Cam Walton.
and we are gearing up for Moses Lake, Washington, the Moses Lake Airshow STOL competition.
Yes.
We're getting ready to do practice today. It's Friday. Competition starts tomorrow at 3 p.m. also here at the Moses Lake Airshow.
Yes.
Cam and I have had a busy day. We've been announcing the Airshow all day. We've gone from the roof down into the booth, and we're ready to bring it to you here in Moses Lake. It's the Grant County International Airport here in Moses Lake, Washington. It's Mike Whiskey Hotel on your sectional if you're watching from home. And if you're in the crowd here, you can go to nationalstol.com, YouTube, Facebook, things like that. You can actually chat with Cam and I. You can say, hey, Cam, hey, Ryan, what is an aileron? And we'll tell you. You maybe learned a little bit about roll rates today at the air show, but if you're just joining us online, we will get you up to speed. You can see there, look at this beautiful air show crowd. We got the RC aircraft that flew earlier today. We had a crazy air show lineup. Cam, what was your favorite act from the day today?
Brad Worston. Brad Worston in the MX2, just ringing it out for us in front of the crowd.
We had Brad Worston. We had Yuichi Tagaki.
Yep.
Wow, I'm tired, I guess. I'm having a hard time saying that out loud. He was in a Pitts S2S tearing it up. We had Yellow Thunder, the dual T6 Harvards flying.
John Melby in the Fear Boss, the S111B.
Kyle Fowler in his Long Easy.
Yeah.
We had a great time today. And we're going to have we probably missed some people in that lineup. It was really cool. We have been talking all day. It's a good thing we've got our legendary aviation coffee in the trailer to keep us caffeinated, and our Flying Eyes sunglasses to get us going, protect us from the sun there. They're a great resource for pilots. We're going to be operating on runway 22 today, and this is the first time ever. We're going to make National STOL history, folks. We are going to be operating on artificial turf.
Yeah, we got to experience the turf last night. We did an inspection. You got to put your hands in the turf and feel the rubber balls.
Yeah, I literally put my hands in it.
Yeah. It was really awesome. We got some good engineering figures that were told to us by Lance, who is in charge of that runway right now. And I'm confident that everything's going to be A-OK, and we're going to have awesome short landings due to that turf.
Yeah, we're going to see that. And, again, the braking action going to be one of the stories today to see how that feels out. I think we're going to get a turf report from John Jughead Council later today after he flies a little bit. Folks, now if you're here in the crowd, go to nationalstol.com/vote, nationalstol.com/vote. Voting closes at the end of competition tomorrow. It's for your fan favorite pilot. The fan favorite pilot from Moses Lake actually brings home some hardware. They get to actually get rewarded for being your favorite here in Moses Lake. The other thing we got to mention is this is currently being simulcast on live Airshow TV, and we got to give a big thank you right off the bat, Cam, for the local chapter of the Washington Pilots Association, the Port of Moses Lake, and the Moses Lake Airshow, all who were instrumental in bringing National STOL back to the Airshow. It's our second year, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for bringing us, because we are absolutely great and happy to be here.
Also, Confluence Health, an incredible sponsor. They're going to help you see all the heart-pounding action of today's STOL competition. So we are gearing up stuff. Hey, we got some classic Airshow stuff. We're not off the hook,
Nope.
Cam. We got some classic Airshow stuff we've got to do right now. I have, well, maybe you, would you like to do it? I've got a piece of paper with numbers on it.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, let's see what we need to do with these numbers. I am looking at a ticket number for our RC aircraft raffle. If you have the ticket ending in tree 199er, that is 3199 for non-aviation speaking people, then you have won an awesome RC aircraft.
Yeah, so if you're here in the crowd at Moses Lake Airshow, go down to the RC aircraft booth. Again, 3199. Come get that RC airplane. I wonder which one it is.
Yeah, me too.
They look pretty cool.
I mean, any one of them is going to be fantastic to have, especially if you are just now getting into aviation.
The other thing we need to do, just a quick another business thing, folks, if you are missing a set of keys, and boy is it a set. I got a big old set of keys here in the booth that was just delivered to us. If you're missing it, you're missing your car keys, please.
If you're a Yankees fan and you have keys.
Maybe you're a Yankees fan. Don't give too much away, because we got to come and tell us what kind of car it is. Come reclaim these keys. You can come to the broadcast booth and grab these keys. So if you're here at the air show, you can't get home without these keys. Let's make sure we can get you home. All right. Should we kick off the action, Cam?
Let's do it.
Let's get it done. We're going to start with the touring class. And check out that lineup.
Number 307, John Douglas in the 1964 Cessna 182. Just heard his wife. Hey, Angela, from Pinedale, Wyoming. Number 45, Andrew Patry in the 1959 Cessna 182B from Ellensburg, Washington. 345, Derek Holman in the 1991 Maul MX7-180. And number 45, Rick Holman in the 1991 Maul MXT7-180. I believe they're flying the same aircraft, if I'm not mistaken.
So we will see them fly together again. This is the touring class, folks. These are the certificated heavy airplanes
Big
when
boys.
it comes to STOL. You can see right there John Douglas taxiing over that volcanic ash. We talked about it last year. That's why we have artificial turf this year. The abrasiveness of all of the volcanic ash on the airplanes. Here we go, everybody from Pinedale, Wyoming. It's race number 307, a 1964 Cessna 182. Give it up for John Douglas.
John hosts the Rocky Mountain STOL competition in Pinedale, Wyoming, along with his wife, Angela. They are residents of that lovely area of the country. Together they have 3 daughters, 2 son-in-laws, 2 sons, 2 daughter-in-laws, 9 grandchildren, and another one on the way. It's a big family.
Next up, it's going to be one of the Holmans. It's either Derek Holman or Rick Holman. It says Derek Holman on the screen, so let's run with it. 1991 Maul MXT7 180, race number 345. Give it up for Derek Holman.
Derek Holman goes by DJ. He's 19 years old with around 100 hours of flight time and a college student at Southern Utah University with goals of ending up in the airlines.
That aircraft, by the way, always has an extra soul on board if you look closely enough.
What was his name? Do you remember
I don't remember its name.
Was it Theodore? No.
It's a skeleton. You look closely, there'll be a skeleton. We're good. Just filling time. We should go. Copy that. Next up, over in the backcountry class to practice, it's race number 115 from Snohomish, Washington, 1955 Cessna 170 Bravo. Give it up for John Jughead Council.
John has experience in over 70 types of aircraft, gliders, helicopters, and skydiving. He's a retired USAF fighter pilot, instructor pilot, and civilian. He entered the Air Force in 1991 after graduating from Central Washington University ROTC as a distinguished graduate.
He's a bit of an American hero.
Yeah,
Let's be
maybe.
real. Like I said during the air show, Google that guy.
All right, we're going to try and get you some weather here in just a moment.
Yeah, so we got currently winds are 14, gusting 21 knots. We want those big gusts for the National STOL competition, folks. If you're here in Moses Lake, you're new to STOL, we want wind on the nose. That's coming from 200 degrees, altimeter 2965. I said that like way too cool. But, oh, yeah, it's the altimeter setting. Check it out.
2965.
Forecast sunny and dry, and that is definitely what's happening here today. Humidity 25%. So that 14 gusting 21, Cam, how much do you think if you're Dan Reynolds, you're looking for that world record, how much does he need?
I mean, I'm hoping he needs 14 gusting 25. Is that what we got?
Oh, yeah, I hope he has. By the way, I just figured out the skeleton's name. It's Theodore.
Yes, I was right.
You were right. Yeah, Theodore, the skeleton riding in the mall, going to be practicing for us today. So let's talk a little bit more about this turf, Cam. You and I got to inspect it yesterday. We're going to see the first competitive, I guess, practice takeoffs and landings on it out there. But it is more than just like when I think of turf, I think, excuse me. Oh, hang on. We got to do some air show duty real quick. The keys, yeah, what's the car? Oh, they're figuring it out. We should hand this off to someone else. This is live TV, folks. We got the keys for these folks right here. Okay, we're going to work out the keys in a minute, but let's talk about that turf. Okay, so the keys. What's that? Oh, I don't know. It's a Chevy. Is it Chevy? Yeah. Is he? It's like right. He's got New York all over him. All right, everyone, got the keys back to the New York guy, or someone who's claiming to be the New York guy. All right.
Woo!
Moving on with STOL.
He's going to be able to go home tonight.
He's going to be able to go home, or maybe. I mean, I don't know. He seemed trustworthy. Okay, let's go back to the turf thing. It's a live show, folks. We're at an air show. It's a big old thing happening. So we are holding right now for airspace. The tower is taking the airspace back for a little bit, so we're holding here. It's a great time to go back to that conversation of the turf. And what I was going to say, Cam, is it doesn't feel like like walking in. You and I both marched in bands.
Yep.
Hashtag nerds.
Nerds.
It didn't feel like what I used to march on back in the early 2000s.
Right. Same here. It wasn't spongy at all. Like, it wasn't bouncy or anything. Like, it really did just – it had a solid consistency. I feel like we're going to have excellent performance from that turf. I'm not worried about it at all.
We were hearing a lot of stats from Lance, who's part of the air show folks here putting this on, and he was giving us a lot of the mathematic and engineering stats about how it's adhered into the ground. There's adhesives in there. There's all the rubber stuff. You can see there the granulated rubber that they put in there to give it that feel.
Yep, he said that it's 3 times, it's rated for 3 times the durability, or I can't really remember how he put it, but basically it's rated for way more than what these aircraft, the pounds and the moment, right? You got You got the weight of the aircraft along with the weight of the aircraft in motion. So it's rated for well over what any of these aircraft can do to it. He was telling us that some of that heavy construction equipment on there can't even pull this up.
Yeah, and folks, I want to emphasize how special this is. This is something that we think may not exist anywhere else in the world. This may be a world first for like a artificial turf runway like this. The other cool thing that I enjoyed hearing about was that it is upcycled.
Yeah.
So they grabbed the green part of the turf that you see Jughead's plane sitting on it right now. The like grass part, the simulated grass part, that is upcycled. It's like over 30 years old from a different stadium that was getting rid of it. So instead of putting that in a landfill, struggling with all of that, it got upcycled here to Moses Lake. If this runway were new, you see it's fairly narrow. It's about 300 feet long. If this runway were new, if you want to do about the same amount of area, what I've been told is that this is about $250,000 runway here. If it were new, again, we used upcycled materials, things like that.
Right.
But the reason that this was done was last year, I thought it was quite dramatic. I enjoyed it. But we competed on the volcanic ash that has been deposited here from Mount St. Helens.
Yeah.
It was a dust bowl. And again, I thought it was cool. It looked cool, but guess what? I was sitting here in the booth with Corey Robin. We were not getting sandblasted by the ash.
Okay.
Nor were our props or our airplanes or the crowd. We weren't in the crowd either getting sandblasted, right? So the Airshow folks here at Moses Lake said, if we can give you a strip of that, it's going to really reduce the amount of dust. It's also going to give you, perhaps we will see, a more consistent braking surface for the show. So that's really exciting to see. It has been tested. We tested it last night, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I think the verdict was
good.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. Like, all right.
Yeah. Thumbs up for rock and roll.
You might have seen that in the intro video with Ryan Melendez and his Super Cub, with some of that Super Cub turf action.
The great moment, he looks over.
Yeah.
He looks down and he's like, oh, yeah. All right. That's pretty good. Big thanks to Ryan Melendez for testing that out for us in his Super Cub. So we are, folks, just in a hold waiting for the airport authority here to release us for practice. We've got a lot of cool competitors here. Cam, you mentioned that in the intro that a lot of them came from Ontario. Someone who was at Ontario is Hal Stockman and his new Badlands aircraft. He had something weird sticking out the front of it. So let's learn a little bit more about that right now.
I'm Ash with National STOL, and I'm here with Hal and the Lawnmower 4.1. Hal, why don't you tell us a little bit about this airplane?
Everybody asks about the 4.1. It caught on fire last October, so I had to rebuild it, and it's basically the tail and some of the controls and what have you are all that's left of the old airplane. So we just made it 4.1 instead of 4.0, or Lawnmower 4. It's a Badlands Vaquero, which is the first Rotax-powered Badlands, and it's also built for the Rotax, so it's a little shorter, a little lighter, a little less wingspan to take advantage of the lighter engine.
And I see you went ahead and slapped some canards on this thing. Tell me about those.
Well, the theory behind the canards is we all will put weight on our tail to get the CG back when it's light, so we got good elevator. So we thought, well, we're building it, why don't we put a canard on it and lift the front to help the elevator, and that'll unload the wing and make it fly slower. And I think it will, but it definitely flies different with them on.
Super cool that you guys were able to take that unfortunate incident and turn it into such a cool new aircraft.
The canard will, I can adjust the angle of attack inside the cockpit. So if you look on the side, there's little slash marks. The bottom slash mark is the angle of incidence of the wing. The top one is the angle of incidence of the tail. So I can put more angle of attack into it. I just need to fly it more and figure it out. But that seems to be better than the angle of incidence of the tail.
Interesting. So that's super cool to have a whole new system for you to learn, basically, and get a finesse a little bit.
Yeah, these just 2 pins they pull off, so it only takes a minute to put them on. They do slow it down in cruise a little bit because they are in the prop wash. So for your normal flying, you don't need them. It's when you're trying to work on the edge is when you need them.
Any last words, Hal?
Well, I would like to thank everybody that contributed to the GoFundMe to help me put it back together. I am kind of humbled and blessed. Over 1,000 people put in over $100,000, so that helped a way lot to get it back in the air.
That's that aviation community. That is such a beautiful thing for those of us that are all involved. If you guys are curious about how to get involved with aviation, look for local events in your area and EAA chapters. Get involved to do a discovery flight with a local flight school. It is such an incredible community, and I think we can all attest to that here at this gorgeous event in Ontario this weekend.
So again, that was some sideline reporting by our field reporter Ash at Oregon, oh no, they'll never let me back in the state again. Oregon Trail STOL. Again, we're still under a hold from the local tower here at Moses Lake. And so if you're waiting for competition to kick off, folks, don't forget to go visit those vendors, the food booths, get all that stuff sorted out. Get your biological needs sorted. You need some food, you need some sunscreen, you need a little bit of water. That would be a great time to do this. Cam, I wanted to take a moment now while we're waiting for the aircraft to get to fire up again. You've been traveling, well, we both have, but you particularly put some miles on this trailer.
Oh, my goodness.
Helping us get everything around. This series, we're on the 4th stop now.
Yeah.
Traveling all over the country. 12 events, 11 cities.
I mean, we have so much happening right now. We've got, of course, we're here at the Moses Lake Airshow. Next up, we've got Sodbusters. And
right.
That's your home show, essentially,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, Sodbusters, Hartford, Wisconsin, just down the road from where I am in Milwaukee.
Yep, so
where
I'll
I
be
learned
driving.
to fly.
Yeah. Where you learned to fly, what, a J3, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, thanks for letting me flex on you again with that. Yep.
We all know that the J3 is just the worst champ. That's all it is.
That's what I
and a
I
champ,
don't know if that's true.
And a champ is a worse tailorcraft.
No, I don't know if that's I think it's probably the best. Don't you think it's probably the best? So folks, if you are watching this remotely or you're here in Moses Lake and you want to follow us around the country, we would love that. Like Cam's hinting at, Hartford, Wisconsin, July 18th and 19th. Registration's actually open right now for that if you'd like to come over to Hartford. It's just before the big air show in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Then we're heading west again, back to Pinedale, Wyoming, August 15th and 16th for Rocky Mountain STOL. August 29th and 30th, we're going to be in Clarion, Pennsylvania for Appalachian Mountain STOL. And then rescheduled from earlier in this season, we're going to be at Heritage STOL at the Military Aviation Museum in Virginia Beach, Virginia, September 5th and 6th. And then the rest of the season, there's a few more. Arklahoma STOL, Patriot Air Park in Pocola, Oklahoma. Pocola. I got to pronounce that right. Pocola, Oklahoma, September 19th and 20th. Music City STOL in Gallatin, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, October 10th and 11th. And then Lone Star and STOL and the National Finals presented by American Legend Aircraft. Sulphur Springs, Texas. We're going to be there October 30th through November 1st. An extra day of competition there for the finals. That's the home again of American Legend Aircraft. You maybe have seen them on the internet. Trent Palmer flying his new Legend Nomad. Tomorrow, folks, we will be starting this whole show again right around 3 p.m. Pacific. It depends on some of the air show scheduling and how long it takes us. We cannot be setting up our race course during the air show because it's from a safety perspective. So as soon as the what we've been calling today, like the full-scale air show. There was an RC air show, then a full-scale air show, and now we are headed into the STOL part of it, there's a little bit of a delay for safety, right? We have to let them recover all the Airshow acts, and then we have to go out and set our runway up and get it ready to go. So we hope you visiting. We hope you are visiting us tomorrow, either online or here in person. Jason Hurdlow in the chat saying, "What time is the competition? Considering going to see it?" Heck yes, Jason. Get down here and hang out with us. Also, while we're talking socials, Ray Powell.
Mr. Ray.
From Berwick upon Tweed in the UK. Chiming in. It's just before midnight there. And he's still saying hello.
Thanks for watching, man.
And Katrina, one of our super fans, she's in the chat as well saying, let's go.
Yeah, and also an STOL pilot, because we do this in Microsoft Flight Simulator a week after today. Same location, same weather, or at least the weather that's going to be live for next Saturday.
Correct.
We'll be doing this live via Microsoft Flight Simulator next Saturday, National STOL.
So, folks, if you're just joining us again, Ryan and Cam here from National STOL. We're hanging out at the Moses Lake Airshow here in Moses Lake, Washington. It's our second year at this event.
Yes.
It has been an awesome day so far. You know who we forgot to mention?
What's
I
that?
see them right in front of the broadcast booth. We didn't mention, when we were talking about all the cool things that we saw today, we didn't talk about the C-17 West Coast demo team.
Oh, yeah.
They're standing right there. They didn't call us on it, but I see them right there talking to some photographer dude. And they put on a great show. And the best part of it is they have a sense of humor. We'll share this for our STOL audience. We already shared it here at Moses Lake. But the captain came up to us and she said, you know, nice to meet you, whatever. Let's get here's all the formalities of the airshow announcing side of it. And then I said, well, what music would you like to play while you do your demo? And she said, could you play Big and Chunky? And I thought she was kidding. She was serious.
Very serious.
So we did it. We're going to do it again tomorrow. So that's a cool thing to see. It's great. This show's showing a lot of diversity in aircraft, right? You're seeing the RC aircraft. That's a way to get involved in aviation. We just talked about STOL Cam. That's a great way to get involved. Fire up Microsoft Flight Simulator. Become a competitor. And then also, you know, STOL is something that's really, really accessible in terms of airplanes. You're going to see airplanes today that are pretty classic, and you're going to see some that are maybe a little more souped up.
Just
but
a wee
in the
bit.
end, you know, Cam and I fly
Vintage.
airplanes that maybe aren't competitive STOL-wise, but can put in some numbers.
Yeah, we'll see.
In a
We'll see
champ.
later on in the season.
Yeah, I know you keep wanting me to fly against you, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I think I'd rather just talk smack next to you and not actually.
Tell me when I'm pulling too fast and too early.
So now from our booth, we can see the reason for the hold. There is an aircraft off there. You can see it all lit up against the Washington sky there.
Yeah.
3-mile final. Once that airplane's down, we'll be able to get this thing started, this party started. And that is actually, this is pretty cool. Maybe this is a good reason to hold.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a Boeing test airplane.
Yeah.
Coming back to the barn. So we'll just be holding for that. So now's a good time again, folks. If you want to say hello in the chat, go to nationalstol.com, go to YouTube, Facebook, all those places you can, even if you're in the crowd here at Moses Lake, you can say hello. The other thing that we would like to point out is that if you want to get involved in the STOL stuff that Cam's doing, Cam, how can they do that?
They can go to nationalstol.com/chat. That'll get you into the Discord, and you'll be chatting with all of the competitors and the pilots and the air bosses and everybody that's involved on the east side, the National STOL STOL side of what we're doing here.
I mean, that looks pretty cool. Oh, they're doing a
touch and go.
a little touch and go.
We got to see them do that in a few other test aircraft the past couple of days. That's a Boeing 737 MAX 9.
That is cool. So that's cutting edge, brand new. It's got that new airplane smell.
Ooh, yes.
I didn't personally smell it. I'm just making an assumption. And it's funny, you can tell which of the pilots for National STOL are airline pilots because they all look straight up at that thing. They're like, I want to fly that someday.
Yeah. Or, I'll fly something better.
So we've got engines start now for this first round of practice. Again, just as a recap, we've got John Douglas, Derek Holman, and John Jughead Council. A pretty good matchup for practice. Jughead normally wouldn't necessarily be competing against these two aircraft. He's in a different class, but it'll be interesting to see. You've got the quintessential fat tire tail dragger with the Maul and the 182. We are under a green flag now, Cam. It's John Douglas coming up.
Let's go.
So this class that John Douglas is competing in tomorrow, again, is the certificated heavies. Now, they aren't heavy like the C-17, but they are pretty big from a general aviation standpoint. Here he is, full throttle, kicking up that granulated rubber, and he is off nice and short, sub 250 in practice for John Douglas.
And Derek Holman is pulling up to the line. We're going to wait on John to clear a crosswind, and then he will be launched. We'll see what he's going to do for us as we have the battle of the nose gear aircraft between him and John Douglas.
So the Maul, a quintessential backcountry airplane. There's a famous, what is it, a film or a video? Film of it flying out of a hangar back in the day. Okay, here we go. Derek Holman on the roll. Whoa!
Oh,
hey!
Come on!
That wind helping him get off the ground a little more easily. Gotta wonder what that turf, it's everyone's first takeoff on that turf right now, and they're all feeling it out. Okay, next up, John Jughead Council, former F-15 fighter pilot, airline pilot, YouTube celebrity, all-around good guy, former Airshow announcer.
Yeah.
Jet team guy. So if you can think of something in aviation, this guy's done it.
And here we go. Power up. Releasing the brakes. That tail's coming up. He's going to gain airspeed and pull back just a little early. And we're looking somewhere beyond 250. Parallax is getting me right now. I'm on an angle in the booth.
Sorry to interrupt, Cam. You can see him settling. He's retracting those flaps.
Yeah.
You can see him settling back down, but getting up to flying speed. So when we talk about, you're going to hear Cam and I talk about a lot of different aviation terms. Let's give him maybe the aviation 101 right now.
Let's go.
First, how do you control an airplane? Well, you control it with different control surfaces. Ailerons are on the outside of it. When you see John Douglas banking into the wing around the bend right here, right now, ailerons are on the outside. They control your roll left and right. The flaps, you see them drooped down right now.
Those
as he
big
comes
barn
in on
doors.
approach. Exactly. Those add lift and drag. Here he comes in now.
He's going for a go-round.
So that's going to be a go-round for safety for John Douglas. So he's going to go around the traffic pattern. Next up will be the Maul. Derek Holman coming around. So let's see. We got through ailerons. We got through flaps. We got to talk about elevators.
Yes.
The elevator.
The up and downies.
The up and downies. The elevator. You want to take that one, the ups and downies?
Yeah, so the elevator is connected to the horizontal stabilizer, and that's going to provide pitch authority for the aircraft. You'll see the elevator pitching up just a little bit. And looks like we got to go around from Derek Holman as well.
So a second go-around now in practice. Derek Holman, I'm going to guess, look at what's happening with those feather flags, all the sponsors that bring National STOL all over the country. You saw the wind We've got gusty conditions right now here, and it felt like maybe he just didn't have what he needed to get a nice, safe approach. So we've got 2 go-arounds. John Jughead Council now on final, working his uppy-downies, working his lefty-righties and his flappy-dappies. The only one that we haven't talked about is the rudder, which is just like the rudder on a boat, controls your yaw.
Yep.
Here he is settling down into the pocket, now holding it off.
Ooh!
Oh, right on the line. Stop, nice and short. That's the first landing in practice.
Yeah, let's go, John Jughead Council.
And I thought I heard the scratch horn, but the checkered flag is up. So that score will be good.
We'll get
It's
you.
practice anyway. We can give it to an American legend.
Yeah.
All right, so you might be wondering about that, Cam. Can you walk us through a little bit about how National STOL works?
Yeah, so what we're looking at right now is an exhibition in short field operations. What we're trying to simulate is landing on a sand or a gravel bar on the river. You don't want to touch the line and you don't want to land before the line. Otherwise, you are landing in the water, too deep for you to fly in. So what we're trying to do is land beyond that STOL reference line, which would simulate being on the very edge of a sand gravel bar, or sand or gravel bar.
John Douglas just came in. Nice landing, a little bit beyond the line, though, but it's good to get one in the books. It's interesting to see the pilots. You got to wonder, are they being a little easy on the brakes? Are they trying to figure out, look at that dust. Holy cow, look at our line judge out there just getting blasted. Moses Lake. Mount St. Helens revenge. So Derek Holman now coming in on final approach, getting it settled in there. I love watching the rubber bits fly up from the back of the main gear.
It's almost like watching like football, and like the ball hits the ground and all those rubber bits explode up.
Okay, hanging it out on the prop. He's going to get a lot of throttle there. Got to hold it off. Down. That's all right. That's going to be a scratch for the mall.
But look how short he stopped, even though he did scratch.
Yeah, I mean, if you add, he probably would have stopped right around the 75 to 100 foot mark.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's 100 foot at the most. Ooh, he's going to back taxi. And he's going to be courteous to our line judges. You see he's not blowing dust on them.
He's trying to turn away from the dirt there.
Yeah, and if you look, he's got his yoke pulled all the way back. You can see the elevator canted up.
So just as a recap of what Cam said, you cannot land on the line or before it. If you do, that run becomes totally invalid. You are measured from the distance from the line to where your main wheels stop. So right now you're seeing the Cessna 182, the main wheels are considered the wheels in the back. The little tiny wheel up front, we measure from those main wheels in the back. On John Jughead Council's plane, we're measuring from the wheels in the front, because he's got the big fat bush tires in the front there.
And the little bitty tail wheel in the back.
Here's the little trick. You can, and John Douglas is going to give Jughead a little bit of a dusting there, you can let the tail wheel touch down before the line. That is A-OK. So you'll see in some of the later classes, particularly with the airplanes have a higher power to weight ratio, you're going to see the tail get touched down on a really good landing. You're going to see it touch down before the line.
Yeah. And maybe dragged. I mean, in the case of like Eddie Sanchez, we'll see him drag like 70 feet prior to the line and then just plop it down just beyond the line.
Next up, going to be another takeoff by John Douglas again in that Cessna. Watching for the yank back. There we go.
Ooh.
Off real nice for John Douglas there. That looks to be somewhere sub 200 for sure.
We'll get some numbers here in just a moment. Derek Coleman giving it full power, releasing the brakes. He's going to pull back on that stick, and the flaps are going to drop as he's doing that. And he's going to take off. It's going to be sub 150 on that takeoff. Line judges look like they're pointing towards 135, 130, somewhere around there. Next up, John Jughead Council. One of the local STOL competitors. I'm leaning outside the booth right now looking for his dog Dakota, who's usually up here hanging out with us when he's flying. And here we go, full power. He's on the brakes. Tail's coming up. He's releasing the brakes, and we'll see that tail come up just a little bit, ever so slowly. And then he's going to pull back, and those mains are going to leave the ground, hopefully.
There we go.
There we go.
Getting it off into ground effect there, and now he's going to push that nose down, let the airplane build some speed, and he's going to climb out. You can see now on the camera there, Angela Douglas watching her husband fly. Yeah, there we go. Thumbs up from Angela. So we are going to be in their neck of the woods in just a couple weeks. They put on a great show in Wyoming, up high altitude show. Very different than this. It's really cool to see how every national STOL venue is different.
Yeah.
Okay, John Douglas now settling in. Burst of power to keep him up.
Modulating that
ground.
Throttle. Ooh, and good over the line.
John Douglas heavy on the brakes. Let's work that turf out.
So fun to watch all those rubber bits flying in the air.
The Mall will be turning base right now. Jughead on downwind off in the – look at those beautiful clouds.
Yeah.
It's been a really beautiful day for flying. We've had flying all day, and it's been an absolutely stunning day. Okay, the Mall on short final. Jughead turning right base now.
Nice stabilized approach from Derek. He's settling in. He's going to give it a little power. Give it more power. There we go. Cross the line.
So Cam and I got pumped about that. Watching that nose gear press. And a round of applause from everyone in front of the broadcast booth right now. Even some of the Air Force crew cheering that for that one. So high praise. Look at that on the replay there. Holy cow, working that gear. Here comes Jughead. Flaps down. Again, those inner control surfaces giving a lot of lift but also drag to help him slow the aircraft down. The slower you touch down, the less your brakes have to work.
Give
it's
it more power. Give it a little bit more power.
It off. It's going to continue to
Oh, it's a scratch.
Jughead. I like that air horn that we added. That's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
I feel like I would be less polite with it, though. I would just like
oh, yeah,
rip on
just,
it.
yeah, absolutely.
Like train horn it.
Grip it and rip it. And we got John back taxiing. Looking for John Douglas and Derek Holman to follow up.
You got to wonder, too, at the sight picture here. It's kind of interesting. We have these, like, two parallel runways. Oh, the wind's really howling, losing a distance marker there.
Oh, no.
Getting blown down. It's been recaptured by one of our volunteers. But look at that. All of that dust just kicking up. One of the things I was thinking about was you've got these two runways. So if you're watching right now on screen, you can see we've got the turf runway. But check out that one just closer to the camera there, that black one. That's actually a tarp, sponsored by Inland Tarp here in Moses Lake. And they put that in for the RC aircraft. They've got a comparable sized runway
it is
to our STOL airplanes. but it's a different kind of surface. It's a fabric surface compared to the like adhesively connected turf / volcanic ash runway that we're running on today. Okay, John Douglas now taxiing up to the line. This is a comparably pretty big airplane to ones you're going to see a little bit later today. And also, this is a club aircraft. He shares this with other partners to make it more affordable. Here he goes, full throttle. Watch for the pull on the yoke.
Yes!
There we go. Nice one by John Douglas. That was like textbook perfect. The plane leapt off the ground exactly what he wanted to. He maybe even could have pulled slightly sooner.
Yeah.
But I feel like pulling just a tick late is better. The airplane's going to get into the air sooner. If you pull too early, you introduce a whole bunch of aerodynamic drag and potentially wheel drag, right? Like this is like for Jughead. If he pulls a little early, now that tail wheel's on the ground and it's slowing him down again. He's got to overcome that. Okay, the Maul. Derek Coleman.
On to go during a gust. We're having a gust right now. Some of the RC planes are
dancing.
dancing.
Nice!
Woo! Let's go.
Super short, sub 125 for a huge airplane.
Yeah.
And totally grabbed that gust. That was well timed.
I was watching some debris blow around, and I was like, oh, man, I hope that he's going to get this gust. He got it. John Jughead Council on the STOL line right now. It's going to give it full power.
Look at where his wheels are placed. He's to the right from his perspective. He's on the roll now.
And you can see that elevator's, he's pulling the elevator. Now he's got the flaps in.
It's really cool. You can see where the turf ends because the
dust
dust storm begins.
Yeah.
So Jughead kind of keeping in that 3-point attitude that time around.
Mm-hmm. You can tell that he's getting it dialed in, trying to figure out what's the best approach for this turf, to give context. John Douglas on short final.
John Douglas, it says here that that takeoff for him was 98 feet. Working the throttle now, settling down behind the power curve, right over the line, kicking up that rubber.
Woo!
I'm going to be honest, Cam. I never thought that I was going to say kicking up that rubber.
Yeah, right.
At a national STOL competition.
If I was anywhere else and didn't understand what was happening, I'd be like, oh, that's bad. Rubber? We're talking about tires shredding apart? Oh, right over the line.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful landing for John Douglas. One of the things that I want to point out is you look at that replay, folks. One of the things we hear on social, I'm going to get crabby for a minute. I'm going to get crabby. And on social, everyone's like, oh, those landings don't look very good. It's like, yeah, dude, we're trying to stop short. It's not about passenger comfort. Go around now for Derek Coleman again. Different situation on the wind as he came in.
Yeah, he did not like what he saw. Maybe assess that it was not a safe approach. He's going to give us a go-around.
We do have those dusty conditions, and the other thing we have is that crosswind from the left for the plane. So when you get down slow behind the power curve there, which means that you're using the throttle mostly to keep you in the air.
Yeah.
You lose that gust, you lose your lift, you're going to settle down to the ground. Jughead Council now to your right. Holding it off.
Ooh,
oh, that was a close
yes.
one.
Line judge saying is good to go.
That may go to replay here, Cam. Let's watch frame by frame. And that will be a
that's a scratch.
And that is something that the turf is helping with.
Yeah.
Is that granulated rubber goes flying everywhere as soon as you touch it. So it's very clear that that was a scratch for John Jughead Council. Okay, the ball now turning right base. Coming in for the next landing for Derek Holman.
Right base final for Derek Holman. He's going to start setting up his approach, slowing it down.
Look at him settling in now, nice and low over the runway. There we go. He's over the volcanic ash now, deposited here decades ago.
Steady winds right now. He's going to chop the throttle and settle down around the 75-foot mark and get her slowed. I want to say 150.
Yeah, right around 150 feet for Derek Holman there. Takeoff was 118 feet. His best before that was a combined score of 243. Let me give you some other updates. Jughead's been scratching it up a little bit. He's had 2 scratches back-to-back. John Douglas, best run so far today in practice, 362 feet.
Yeah.
A couple other folks we should say hi to in the chat. WJ Jonah saying good afternoon from Alaska.
Well, hello from Washington.
And then let's see, let's also say hello to Joshua Ryan Blair saying, go Hal, see you at Music City. That's awesome. He's got a Cub he's working on, a J3 Cub, Cam.
All right.
He's got that.
You said it
great.
Again. Said the bad words.
Other folks to say hello to is Ray Powell.
I'm going to say hello to
Jason Hurdlow.
80K in the chat as National STOL.
Nice pull by John Douglas. So he's getting it dialed in.
We're waiting on those numbers to show up for that takeoff from John. 189 feet on that takeoff. It's going to be one of his shortest. Derek Holman on the line waiting for John to clear. And he's got the brakes released. He's going to pull back here. Woo!
Oh, hold it off now. There we go. Nice and short for the mall, showing us what the...
Are they pointing at 100 feet? There's no way.
Where's that going to be?
They look like they're pointing at 100 feet. Let's see. Anticipation is killing me. 103 feet for Derek Coleman. And John's bringing that tail up. Looks like he did not like the 3-point takeoff last time. And he's going to be up just short of 225. Excuse me, 250. And get them back in the pattern. Starting off with John Douglas on right base. Watching him work that rudder as he's giving us a short turn here on final, setting up approach. You can see he's got his flaps deployed. He's making sure that he's taking every bit of advantage of everything that aircraft is going to offer him to slow down the aircraft and have a stabilized approach. And we're going to have a scratch from John.
Too soon there for John Douglas. And I was just thinking about something, Cam. I'm gonna pull up some numbers.
Let's do it.
I want to talk about where John Douglas normally flies. So, the elevation of the town that John Douglas flies in is 7,182 feet. That is higher than what I normally fly AGL in Wisconsin or MSL in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
A little too short for
scratch
Holman
for
there
Derek
on
Holman.
with the maul. Right now, John Douglas is flying the field elevation. Maybe look this up on iFly EFB or your other EFB apps. The field elevation here at Grant County International here in Moses Lake, Washington is 1,189 feet.
All right.
And he's used to flying somewhere around 7,000 feet. So he's got a lot thicker air down here than he's used to. The plane's flying very differently than he's used to. Now, here comes Jughead Council from the right. Big burst of power, holding it off. Good over the line. Now he's got to get it stopped. Working that elevator, the uppy-downy, like Cam likes to call it. Keeping that tail down on the ground. So that is going to be a good one in the books for Jughead. He has not been on the board previously. We had some variability on the first round here at practice. Right now, his takeoff on that fourth run was 250 feet. Let's see what the score comes in for the landing.
$112 for John. Combined total 362.
Interesting. Look at that. 362 for John Douglas, 362 for John Jughead Council.
All right. 362
So,
Johns.
Derek Holman, by the way,
243.
coming at 243 in the mall, not messing around. So I believe that is going to be it for the first round of practice here at Moses Lake, Washington's STOL competition, part of National STOL, the nationwide circuit. We're going to be moving on to the next round of practice. And boy, folks, it is going to be really cool to see all these different airplanes perform in this wind. Jerry Clemens in the chat saying, "Hello, peeps." That's not actually his accent, but
I don't know. I feel
let's
like
pretend, "Hello, peeps." That is Jerry Clemens from now on, sponsor of the series. Actually, let's talk about that right now. Clemens Aviation Insurance. The most affordable and best insurance coverage available, maintaining the highest standard of excellence. And Jerry's been working hard to make sure that we all are safe and covered in our aircraft and in the series. And, you know, if you spend any time in aviation YouTube, you're going to find a lot of people that are very honestly saying, hey, give Jerry a call. He's really helped me out. Sat down with him at Sun and Fun, and he gave me a big rundown of what my flying club could do to reduce costs, whether we use Clemens Insurance or not. He was just willing to share that knowledge and really appreciated that.
And then our headline judge, Lexi Duncan, she works for Jerry. She's my agent. She's who I called once I established my insurance with Clemens.
I should probably call her.
Yeah. We miss you, Lexi. We'll see you soon.
Other folks who want to talk about when we get ready for the next round of practice, let's talk about our friends at Legend Aircraft. Heard us talking about it before.
Yep.
Legend, we're going to be at their hometown at the end of the season, Cam.
Yes,
Legend
sir.
Cup continues to be the most coveted American manufactured sport aircraft. They got that new aircraft, the Legend Nomad.
Yes. Trent
Turbocharged Ropax. Wow. Turbocharged Rotax engine.
Yes.
Spit that out.
Being showcased by Trent Palmer. Some famous guy on the internet.
Yeah, it is super cool. So check them out. Really appreciate their support. Folks, we are going to take a short break here in Moses Lake. We'll be back with more STOL action practice style right after this.
Learn from flyers worldwide. Watch your flights unfold with accurate terrain, scenery, altitude, ground speed, and ground track. Improving your wind situational awareness by reviewing your flight path with wind data. Invite friends to join you. Debriefing with peers is a blast. Seeing your skills improve fast by avoiding repeated mistakes. Never wasting a chance to document bragging rights, or continue to improve by connecting with pilots and instructors who inspire you. Just tap to record.
Well, a friend of mine, actually it was Corey Robin, told me about these flying eyes glasses while we were at Oshkosh. We went and checked them out, and they're awesome. But what I really like is the glasses themselves. They're very light. The earpieces are real thin and flexible, so you don't even know you have them on under a headset. If I put my headset on, I mean, they're just as comfortable as could be, and they're so thin, I can actually take them on and off without removing my headset. I couldn't do that with my other glasses. Then the other really cool thing about these, they make some awesome sunglasses, but they have these cool sunglass lenses that just snap on. So now instead of having to carry a big extra glass case in my pocket, that's all I got to carry to take my sunglasses with me. So there's several things about them that I'm really, really liking. Flying eyes, awesome glasses.
Looking for a more affordable entry into bush plane flying? How about paramotoring, aka the dirt bike of the sky? Paramotoring STOL is the next best thing, and this adventure motor that you wear on your back is your ticket to getting airborne quick. At Aviator Paramotor, our 2-week training takes you from zero to hero.
Sunrise this morning, it was beautiful. There was a thin layer of fog flying. It's just like all the stress and all that kind of just floats away. It's really peaceful.
From no experience to feeling confident and competent flying on your own. Let the team at Aviator Paramotor in Lake Wales, Florida teach you your new superpower of running into the sky. Classes are filling up quick, but there are spots available today, so call now. Side effects include, but not limited to, significant life changes, foot drags, ear-to-ear smiles. Find the extreme freedoms of ripping around the skies in your new adventure motor with friends.
We've had it in all of our airplanes. Ever since we started with the Piper Saratoga in the early 2000s. We did the pulse oximeter and CO detector in there. We've upgraded to there. Now we have a Cessna 340 that I actually was talking to him in Germany last year, and he was like, oh, you got to put the cabin altitude thing in the plane. I said, well, send it to me. So we put it in there, and it actually is really nice. This aircraft flies above 18,000, 10,000 feet, so up to 23,000 feet. The other day, the cabin altitude light comes on the manufacturer's panel, and boom, the CO Guardian comes on and says, all right, you're above 10,000, your cabin altitude is above 10,000 feet. So watch out. So it's kind of nice to have that redundancy in the plane. So for a pressurized aircraft, that is so important for me. I got that oxygen mask ready, make sure my oxygen is good.
And we are back here in Moses Lake, Washington, getting ready for the next round of competition. Well, practice, really.
Yep.
It's practice today on Friday, practice Friday. Check out what's happening out on the turf right now. We're getting that water truck out there to try to get the volcanic ash that's adjacent to it from being a little so aggressive.
Yeah.
So aggressive volcanic ash. While we do that right now, I want to say hello. We've got a special guest here in the booth with us. First, just for the folks who don't know you, maybe they're seeing you on camera for the first time. They're not from the area. Who are you, and what are you doing here?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Kale Russell. Actually, it's my third year as a board of directors member for the Moses Lake Airshow.
Well, we really appreciate you guys bringing us in for this. We're having a great time. We're almost through the first of 2 days. What's been your favorite moment so far? And it has to be National STOL.
It's 100% national still. You nailed it.
No, we had some great aerobatic performers over today too. We got the C-17 demo team sitting here right in front of our booth. Any big moments for you today?
You know, I'm real partial to that Pitts. That Yuichi flies Red Fox is definitely my favorite act. No offense to these guys because they are incredible for sure.
It's a different thing. Different tools do different things.
Yep.
I bet Yuichi could probably fly through the C-17 if the front opened up. What do you guys think? Thumbs
Now
up,
we're
thumbs
talking.
down? Yeah, he could fit. You wouldn't even have to bust the wings off or anything, right? Just park it right in there? Yeah, we're okay.
There we go.
We're going to try that later. That'll be the new act. Is they'll fly overhead and
love it.
Yuichi will just
Stay
fall
tuned.
out the back. Talk to me about what's it like putting together an air show of this size?
Man, it's a huge community effort, right? We have such great support. Our sponsors are amazing to us. You know, can't say enough things about GISA and Boeing and the Port of Moses Lake and, you know, the city and the county and so many more that I didn't even mention. Everybody just really steps up and there's countless volunteers that show up for this event, and year after year we rely on the same people, and it's really, really great.
Well, it's our second year out, and I would say that that would be our experience, right? The hospitality has been through the roof. The support, the local passion too, separately.
Yeah.
Like the crowd, like what a great crowd. Even on a Friday, right? Like people are coming out, having a good time.
Yep.
Like a lot of aviation passion here, and it's really evident.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see a lot of the same faces year after year. A lot of the same people come out to support the show, and the show just gets better and better. And obviously, having you two gentlemen, it elevates us to the next level already.
I don't know about
too
that.
kind.
I don't know if that's
Too kind.
I don't know if that's true at all, but I will take the
it's true.
compliment. I will take the compliment. Thank you for that. What do we have? We've got the show again tomorrow. Anything special people should be looking for if they're coming out tomorrow? Obviously, the competition for National STOL will be happening, so it's going to be for all the marbles in the National STOL side. But if you're just an attendee coming Saturday, what should people look for?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, the big competition happens tomorrow, which we're all really excited about. You know, all these great acts. The RC guys just absolutely blew us away this morning, so I encourage everybody to get here early because you do not want to miss that act.
That was wild, and what was really cool is right before the big, I guess I'll call them like full-scale aircraft showed up. The full-scale airplanes show up. They launched like 6 or 7 of these very large RC airplanes, and they were it was like a hornet's nest, and it was amazing, and you could tell all the passion there that they have. And so we've literally seen like all sections of aviation here.
Yeah, that choreography is impressive, isn't it? It's really cool to see 6 airplanes in the air at the same time, and just the capabilities that those have because they're unmanned and how close they can get to the ground and how exciting that is.
Unless it's Brad Worston, then he's not limited by that at all. Talk to me about, there's one thing I noticed, and folks, if you're tuning in right now, we're at the Moses Lake Air Show. We are in a little bit of a hold right now, getting the runway ready for the next round of practice. Right now, behind us, there's this big batch of static display aircraft. And what is really unique to me is that there's so many general aviation airplanes back there for static display. Why was that important to you at Moses Lake?
You know, aviation is just the fabric of this community, right? Going back to Larson Air Force Base, which we're sitting on, the former Larson Air Force Base, and the port means so much to this community, and so it's just a big deal. It's a big deal to be a part of. It's really cool to see all of those planes out here, local guys coming, guys and gals coming from near and far to being a part of it. I think, the GA presence was definitely impressive for us this year.
It's funny, too, because you look at all those GA airplanes, and I think about how you've got the 17th longest runway in the United States. And they're probably looking at that like, I don't even know what to do with that when they're coming in. What do I do with that giant thing? Anyway.
It's like a big playground, right?
It is. Yeah, it's a huge aviation playground. Anything you can talk to us about next year? Anything? I mean, you're barely through this year. It's a big thing to put on an air show, but
yeah, next year I think we're going to continue growing. Obviously, we sort of took a look at GA this year and really wanted to focus in on that and make that a big deal. National STOL obviously is such a big factor in general aviation, and I think next year, we're really hoping to ramp up the military presence. Obviously,
sure.
We're so thankful for those men and women that are keeping us protected, and a lot of them are called to duty right now with what's going on in the world. So, I think we hope to sort of blow that up a little bit, sort of see some more jets, maybe a little more military presence next year.
Yeah, actually, that was one of my favorite moments from last year. Was you actually were part of the farewell tour of the A-10 demo team, and that was a really meaningful, like almost emotional thing to see them on their final circuit through the United States.
Yeah,
and a stop here, helping them give honor to the work that those men and women have been doing in those squadrons. So.
Yeah, timing really worked into our favor there. Having that farewell tour, and like you said, I mean, the fact that this is it, and we get to see these guys in that impressive aircraft, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
We are about to kick off the next round of practice. You want to hang out and talk airplanes a little bit more, or you got stuff to do?
I'm in, man. Let's do it.
All right. We'll check out some of the next airplanes. Here we go. Now check it out, folks. It's a different kind of airplane, right? We've got new, exciting Cub-type airplanes.
Yeah, looking at Super Cub right now, looks like, or PA-11, or what do we have here? Mike Council.
Yeah, so that is from Moses Lake, Washington, right here, your hometown boy.
Woo!
It's a 1946 Piper PA-12. We called it the Chub Cub last year because it is basically a widened Piper Cub. Everyone give it up for Mike Council.
Mike Council flies a Charlie Flight Systems PA-12 powered by a 180 horsepower 0360 engine.
31-inch Alaska Bush tires on that beast. Guess what? The Mall is back, but now it's flown by Dad. It's Rick Holman coming up from Cresswell, Oregon. It's the 1991 Mall MXT-7. Give it up for Rick Holman.
Rick's the father of DJ that flew in the last heat. Theodore, the skeleton, is their full-time passenger sitting in the right seat. We're going to give him some love. They're going to give him some love, and we'll see them with the first passenger in competition, really officially.
Yeah, you can't have a passenger normally, but if it's a skeleton, I guess it's fine. There's no added risk, really, having a skeleton. Meat stick delivery. Okay,
meat stick time.
This is you're new to National STOL. What happens during every broadcast is Angela Douglas shows up randomly at some time, and she hands us meat sticks because she wants to lure us. She wants to bribe us all to come to Pinedale, Wyoming for that event in a few weeks. And so we've got the meat sticks in the booth now. And
which one?
By the way, we got some Inland Tarp gave us some meat and cheese too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes, you got some Ernie's meat and cheese.
Oh, I can't wait. It's up in the cooler up there. We haven't even had a chance to crack it open. Green flag now. We've got Rick Holman in the Mall. Let's see what he can do. Father versus son. His son with the best takeoff and landing combo of practice so far today with a combined score of 243. Waiting for the air bosses to give him the final go-ahead. Looking at those feather flags. I'm allowed to say this once a broadcast. He's giving it the beans. He's off nice and short. Getting a little bit of wind on the nose never hurts.
get that number from Rick in just a moment. Next up is Mike Council, brother of John Jughead Council.
Jughead's out in front of the broadcast right now. I think he's just trying to think of all the smack talk he's going to do against his brother after he flies. That's at least what I would be doing. I don't. So you probably couldn't hear that on the mics. I don't think they picked it up, but Jughead says he's bigger than me. So, okay, full
Tail's
throttle.
coming up.
Mike Council, tail up, yanking her back.
Yeah.
Nice one. Okay. Some pride, some family pride going on in front of the booth now. So he's going to enter the traffic pattern. Rick Holman's going to be, he's actually directly on the other side of the booth right now on downwind. I think I actually saw a mall in the static displays. Is that right, guys? Did I see a mall back there? Maybe I'm imagining
You know,
things.
I haven't paid enough attention today.
There's so
embarrassingly.
many GA planes back there.
Yeah,
You should
it
go
is.
check them out.
I do remember seeing at least 4 nose gear traditional STOL aircraft. So I think one of them was a nose gear mall.
Again, just a kind of a quintessential backcountry airplane. You can put everything in the kitchen sink in the back.
Yeah.
Really use it. Here he comes now. Base to final, turning there to get lined up on this turf runway. Excited to see what he does about it. Settling down into that lower approach style. You got some wind on the nose. It's a little bit easier to be down here playing this low. Holding it off. A little bit of a balloon, and it looks like he landed short. Rick Holman with a scratch in practice here at Moses Lake. Since we're talking airplanes now, we got a few seconds before Mike brings her in. You have a favorite airplane sitting out there right now?
You know, I grew up in the right seat of a Cessna 180, flown by my dad, so it's always going to be the 180, forever. Lower.
He wants you to say Cessna 170.
Oh, I know what he's getting at.
So here comes Mike Council in the Chub Cup. Settling in on final approach. Flaps down, again providing that extra lift, that extra drag to slow him down. He's going to settle it down. Pretty stable approach now. Working that crosswind there. I said stable in his right on the line. Big bounce for Mike Council, and he is going to give it the full horsies. That's the new term I just made up just there.
Yeah, give it.
Full horsies to get off on a go-around. That is the right thing to do. You got that big bounce. You hang it out like that. Sometimes you're going to work those gear, and it's going to say, you know what, you need to fly more. And he's going to say, yes, please, I will fly more. You don't want to ride that pony all the way to the inevitable
Ground loop
or whatever.
Pilot oscillation.
That's part of the tail wheel training you do. Is if it feels like you're riding a bucket bronco, maybe it's you one, but two, maybe it's time to go around.
Yeah, maybe give your flight instructor a call. Be like, hey man, I'm gonna put this thing down on the runway, and then we need to talk.
Yeah,
I need some help.
Pilot-induced oscillations can happen.
Yes.
Obviously, Mike didn't let that happen. He nipped that in the bud, and that's exactly why he went around. Okay, so he's now on base again. Made a quick pattern around. So 180 time. That was you. That was you grew up.
Yeah, that was it. Obviously grew up here, spent a little time in southern New Mexico, and so a lot of trips back and forth. So seen a lot of things in that Cessna 180, but really, really fond memories.
And any places around here in Washington that are really like unique and accessible by backcountry aviation?
Yeah, you got the Cooley Corridor, up north is absolutely worth the trip. Lots of Great Lakes up there, lots of stuff that you just never see from the ground.
Okay.
You get sorry, I don't mean to cut you off here.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, you get a lot of those, a lot of that great flood action that came through. You see a lot of that geography that, again, you wouldn't see unless you were in the sky.
Absolutely. We got
that looked like it may have been good. Going back to the replay there, yeah.
Race control telling us that it was good. Looks like it was, what, sub 200?
Yeah, called good there. Right on the line for Mike Council. Nice one. He's going to back taxi now.
It's going to be 215.
Take note of the different taxi technique. That's a little bit of an advanced thing to think about in pilotage. You got wind coming behind you. What is the correct way to put the control surfaces for the wind coming behind you? And how does that affect how you're taxiing over a rough surface?
Yep. We want
to. You pull the stick back because it's a soft field, or do you push it forward? You got a tailwind. You know what I mean? Like you're balancing all those things. I want to give credit where credit's due. We did get a text message and some social notes about this. People talking about how the competitors are balancing that. I think it's a unique thing to talk about, and every pilot's making their own choice there to make sure that they're all locked in. So definitely one thing to watch, and you're going to see different techniques based on where the skinny wheel is, right? If it's in front or it's in the back. So Rick Holman now on the line in the mall. By the way, keeping his full throttle now for Rick Holman. Brakes released. He's on the roll, yanking her back.
Oh yeah!
I'm looking at the judges now, and it's hard to tell from the booth, and I'm just the announcer, but I feel like he maybe had it off a couple feet even shorter than they had it. We're measuring from the last wheel to leave the ground, and now that right main could have stuck on a little bit longer than we can see here, but
we've seen that happen.
Very clean.
Yeah, it looked somewhere around 115.
Yeah, 115, 120.
Yeah.
Mike Council now on the line. Look at those flags go. We want that wind. We got to hang on to it a little bit longer because we got to get our friends in the unlimited classes out here. Hal Stockman and Dan Reynolds hopefully flying a little bit later today for you. All right, Mike Council on the roll. Easing it up and nicely done there.
Oh, yes.
So far, just DQs on the practice board here. So
nothing to stick just yet.
We were talking, though, about backcountry places, things you can't see. I mean, Washington State in general, stunning. I don't want to trash talk where I'm from. We have a lot of corn in Wisconsin. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Nothing like flying over the corn in the middle of the summer. And we got a really big lake. You guys have an ocean, whatever.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
I guess it's on the other side. But so like any other places, like if you were one of our local bush pilots, like where would you say, hey, this is worth a day trip before you leave after the show?
Honestly, like I said, I just take off and go north. You know, you fly the east side of the Cascades. You can that's the amazing thing about Washington, right, is you get a little bit of everything. You get a high desert, you get some of that mountain flying. So it's kind of, you know, what's your taste? What do you want to do? You're going to find it within an hour or two from here, you know. So absolutely, like I said, going back to the Coulee Corridor is the thing that we love the most. That's typically where we go just because it's so interesting and there's so much untouched country out there you just don't see anywhere but in the air, you know, and some cool little airports that you can land in, grass strips and stuff.
Oh,
they're calling that a scratch? I don't know. We'll have to go to the replay. We've found that the artificial turf does not lie. And that, look at that further main gear, that right main gear, just kicking up that granulated rubber. That is undoubtedly a scratch. That is an interesting little side benefit because this is the first time we're doing this.
Yeah.
On this surface. A little side benefit, a little easier to call a scratch sometimes.
Learning something new today. I love it.
Yeah. And here comes now Mike Council. Chubb cubbing it down on the final approach. Burst of throttle.
Yep. Yeah,
nice
right over the
one.
line.
Good.
And that one was held better. He had that nice and smooth for the wind. You heard the cheers just outside the broadcast booth here. A lot of happiness from his brother. Got it dialed in. That is cool to see. I think my brothers would be like, boo. They'd be saying expletives every time I came over the line. That's just the relationship I have with those guys.
We were hoping you scratched every time.
I'm one of the middle kids too, so I think I got it a little rougher, right? But
you got to fight for everything.
Yeah,
right?
my 3 brothers though, I love those guys. I'll give them a little shout out, I guess. Ben, Chris, and Matt. If you're watching this, one of them's down in San Diego, so at least we're in the same time zone this time of year. Those guys are good, but so anyway, they would. I don't know if they would be cheering for me the way Jughead cheers for Mike. I think they would be having a little more fun at my expense. Okay, get ready for another couple runs for Rick Holman and Mike Council here practice at Moses Lake. And man, the country, you know, just to go back to this idea, the beauty you have here is just stunning. And you know, I flew the best flight for me was to come in Seattle, come over the mountains through or I guess through the pass.
Yeah.
And it's like so stunning.
Yeah, a lot to see up there, right?
Man, he is hanging it out there. That was real nice for Rick Holman. He's got 2 scratches on the board so far. Mike Council's on the board with a combined score of 373, so just 11 feet behind his brother. Keeping it real tight there. Now here comes Mike Council himself coming up to the line. You'll notice one of the techniques that folks do is they will cheat a little. It's interesting because we have a little bit of a crosswind, and normally people will cheat to one side or the other to try to get a little bit of that crosswind on the nose cam, but it seems like everyone's preferring to fly off the turf.
Yeah, keeping it safe, keeping it down the turf. And it looks
While
like
they go around the pattern, folks, I want to take a minute to talk about one of our sponsors. Let's talk about our friends at Red Tag Art. They feature innovative and handcrafted art and home goods from Red Tag, aircraft parts which are no longer viable for use. The parts, the airplane parts, get red tagged. You can't use this in an airplane anymore.
Yep.
So now you can make something cool out of it. So we've seen them make everything from bottle openers that are made from valve covers to turbine coffee tables. I think that one was an investment for someone there. It's a lot of labor that went into that one. Everything in between. You can check out their designs or start a custom project at redtagart.com. So they do our annual trophies every year as well, and they're stunning.
I bet those are cool.
Oh, yeah. Say hi to Kelsey for me. Tell him Cam sent you.
You get a discount if Cam sends you, or what?
No, but, you know, I'm famous.
It's worth a shot.
It is worth a shot, right? You never know what friends you'll make.
So here comes the Mall, flown by Rick Holman now, turning that base to final here. You know, it's funny, like, I think our entire competitive area is 100% over the airport. Is that right? Am I guessing that that's right?
No, I bet you're right.
It's a huge airport.
Yeah, huge.
Here. Settling in now, nose real high. Oh, and he gave it a burst of throttle there for a go-around. I don't know if that one, I'm going to armchair quarterback.
I don't know. I feel the same way.
I feel like that was like a whoopsie-daisies. I'm going to go around, not a I really need to go around.
Right.
Me, I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not there.
Not putting words in anybody's
I'm
mouth.
not sitting in the seat with him. But that felt a little bit like, this one's not going to be good. Whoops. I have no idea if that's true. It could have been. I mean, it is gusty. Let's be real.
Yeah.
We want to give benefit of the doubt. But it's practice, so I could be a little critical. You felt the same way.
I think landing was assured.
Do you have a third vote? Or
you know, I was just going to say educate me on this a little bit because I'm not sure of those rules.
Okay. So what we're talking about, thank you. So what we're talking about, right, is we always want to encourage go-arounds at National STOL. We want pilots to be safe. You can't blatantly just go around if you're going to get a bad score.
That makes sense.
Oh! A little short there, touching down for Mike Council just before the line.
I don't know. He's calling it. Line judge is calling it good.
I saw. I
didn't know you were looking.
You saw it. Did you see it too? Let's go to the replay and see. Man, Cam and Ryan throwing some shade the last 5 minutes. Here we go. Right there, that left main, and I can see why the judge missed it because The right main was well airborne, but the left main did touch down there. It's hard. It's hard to see it. It's all. I mean, it's happening a lot faster when you're that close.
Oh, yeah.
The benefit of distance here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the pilots think of that turf. You know, I mean, it doesn't lie, that's for sure. You can see that spray when those wheels touch.
And I think the consensus so far is that it feels a little grippier than like standard sod. We've talked a lot today about how, sometimes the turf we're operating on is pretty poor condition.
Yep,
Sometimes it's
sure.
like a golf course, right? Okay, here we go. Now, back again for more in the mall. Good over the line, settling it very gracefully. The question I have is, are people getting as hard on the brakes as they normally would?
That's where I'm at too. I mean, I'm seeing braking action happening, right? We can see the shimmying, we can see the rubber granules being thrown up in the air as they're braking, but I wonder if it's really as like just stomp on the brakes, stand on them as what we're used to.
And sometimes you don't see that until competition either, because people want to save their brakes for competition.
Yeah.
They don't want to have an issue of mechanical. But oftentimes, to reinforce what you said, Cam, is people will sit down and they will land brakes locked and they never let go, particularly in the tri-gear airplanes.
Yeah.
Harder to do in the tail dragger,
Makes
right?
sense.
End up on your nose or something like that. So we're going to have one more round of the pattern for Rick Holman and Mike Council. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is the Moses Lake Airshow, second appearance of National STOL here, and we are having a blast today. If you are in, I guess I was about to say anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, get your butt over here.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, no excuses,
No excuses. Come on down and visit us tomorrow. It's not just a National STOL competition, which would be enough in its own right, but also we have a whole big air show that we just did today, with aerobatic acts, everything from a Pitts to a C-17. That's
Skydivers.
So skydiving, we had the Long Easy, the backwards airplane flown by Kyle Fowler. All those great acts doing their thing. And then RC and a ton of static displays behind us. It's worth the trip out.
Yeah, lots of great vendors, lots of good food. It's the beautiful weather here in the basin, so you can't beat it.
I heard something about bubble tea.
Yes, there is a bubble tea guy over there. I think I missed him. Hopefully he's not gone, but...
All right, there we go, easing it off. Oh, held it. Settling down there for a second, Cam.
I don't know.
Back up.
I have to say that I'm really liking Derek and Rick, like with the way that they're flying today, because they're pulling, and me looking at it, like when they start pulling, I feel it's too early, and it's not. It's just that the winds are doing what they're doing, the turf is doing what it's doing, and that maul is just performing on takeoff.
Yeah, very, very exciting. They've got it dialed in, and we've got the wind on the nose, which is what everybody wants. Here is Mike Council now, getting that tail up, moving for another great takeoff. Notice the flap deployment there, those manual flaps. He's going to try to
pull the stick back.
I was going to say yank them, but basically you're yanking on them, right? And if you do a little you get a little burst of lift, right? That'll help you get up into ground effect. The plane's going to fly better a few feet above the ground. Was it half a wingspan, I think, is the scientific number? Half a wingspan above the ground. You can actually fly at a slower speed than you normally would before you would stall. You get a little bit of buffer there. And so if you can use those flaps to kind of pop you up into the sky, well, up a few feet above the ground, let's be real, then you can build up speed to flying speed and climb out. And so that's that flap action. In some of the more modern airplanes, like let's say my Cessna 172, it's electric flaps. I'm not popping those things.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not popping them like they're hot or whatever the kids say these days. I'm just, I'm slowly deploying them like they're lukewarm, right? Like I don't have the ability
Pop
to
it
do
like
that.
it's warm.
Yeah. So I can't do that technique in my airplane, but that's what you see too there. Okay, who we got base to final? I believe we got the Mall now for the final landing of practice for the Mall. Rick Holman at the controls with the skeleton Theodore right beside him.
Speaking of popping it like it's hot, we haven't seen any chop, plop, and drop it, have we? It's like a little chop, plop, and drop. And we heard a little backfiring coming from
It was well timed.
The mall. Yeah, absolutely well timed.
Giving a little bit of gusto to get clear of the runway there. By the way, folks in the chat, Race Control just told me I should reach out and say thank you. If you're in the chat, social chat, you gave some feedback on audio levels and quality here as we broadcast. Big thanks to you for helping us get this sorted out. Got some other folks we can say hi to real now. McJams. That's just a cool name, social name there.
On the nose is what she's saying. Ooh!
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
That looked pretty solid.
The judge
Right
is
around
confident.
150 feet, too, for Mike Council. His best so far, 373. Going to the... Oh, no! Heartbreak! Did he beat me? The rubber does not lie. That was a scratch for Mike Council. Just a few feet before...
I think you got bragging rights today, John.
Yeah, so Jughead just came out. Did he beat me? No. So he's at 373, Jughead. Your best was 362. So you live to fight another day.
Get him.
He's buying the night.
That one would have been close, though. Yeah, I think he would have had you. He would have had you on that one if he hadn't scratched. Let's be real. Just by a few feet. Don't tell him that, Jughead. Don't. Sorry, folks. We're having a little sidebar. We're having a little sidebar conversation here. All right, back to social. Want to say hi to some other people here. Dan in the chat saying, "Did you guys seriously ship in AstroTurf just for the event?" We at National STOL did not, but you at Moses Lake Airport and the Moses Lake Airshow did.
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough to kind of get some reclaimed turf, and honestly, what better use for that than this event? It worked out beautifully.
Yeah, we're still goofing around with it.
Yeah.
But we're
still
figuring it
goofing
out.
around.
We're having fun with it. The McJams is in the chat saying, "So the point is shortest takeoff and landing?" Yes.
Absolutely.
Combined. You can't, and to get a little granular about it, you can't grab
your best
and of each. It's like the best run. So that's part of what's going on here. Aviator Show. If you know anything about paramotors, you know the name Aviator PPG. They're in the chat saying, "So stoked for this event. World record weather without a doubt." Oh, I hope.
Oh, man.
Yes, we're all hoping.
That would be pretty cool to have happen on the first day of an air show. So let's talk about that world record. Let's head over to a little interview we did with Dan Reynolds just a few weeks ago.
One of my goals is to try to just best yourself. So I set the world record shortest landing in Valdez in 2018. I'm still flying the same plane. I haven't bested it yet. I've come close, but you just have to have the right conditions, and hoping to set the bar higher. I mean, but it's been set so high already. Frank Knapp's got the combination, and in it, I watched him do it in 2017 at Valdez, and it was so cool to see. And it still stands, and it stands for a reason, because he's an awesome pilot, had the right conditions, and just everything has to come together. It's not just one thing.
So everything has to come together. It's not just one thing, but hopefully today for Dan Reynolds, everything will come together. The other person that's right in front of me right now that we're hoping everything will come together is Hal Stockman. He's got his new aircraft. You heard about that earlier in the broadcast. And he is every competition getting more and more aggressive as he feels that plane out. He added the canards. That was pretty wild. So it's going to be really cool to see. Check out the new airplanes coming to practice now, folks. We've got a Zenith.
Little Rabbit coming out. I believe that's a Little Rabbit. Right now we got race number 22, Ryan Melendez in the 1954 Super Cup PA-18. Race number 22, Thomas Taranowski in the 2018 Cup Crafters FX3, and number 8, Mike Babcock in the 2025 Badlands.
And then we're also doing Sport Class Jeff Vallon in the 2016 Zenith 701, so he'll be flying as well.
That's who we're seeing right now. Jeff Vallon and Little Rabbit.
So, folks from the Bay Area in California, that is a long flight in a Zenith. Race number 365. It's a 2016 Zenith 701. Give it up for Jeff Vallon.
Jeff always wanted to fly. Didn't start until the age 45. Flew and camped in a tri-pacer all over the West Coast because it was sold to a buyer in Yakima, Washington.
Now for something completely different. Look at that beast coming through the dust.
Oh, yes.
That is wild.
Looks like we have some Badlands Traveler action going on. I haven't seen that plane yet.
So this is going to be from Cottage Grove, Oregon. It's race number 8 of 2025 Badlands STOL Traveler. Give it up for Mike Babcock.
Mike grew up in Brownsville, Oregon, where his dad used to land a Huey in the backyard. Oh, dude, that dude's lucky. Always had a love for being in the air and learned to fly while stationed in Belgium.
So Mike Babcock was here last year in a Rans S21.
Okay.
Having some fun. And he had done all he thought he could do to that Rans S21, and now here he is a year later in a Badlands Traveler. What's wild is this event last year was where the Badlands Traveler really made a big change in the competitive landscape. Now, from Black Diamond, Washington, race number 227. It's a 2018 Cub Crafters FX3. Give it up for Thomas Tarnowski.
Thomas visited Alaska 5 years ago and caught the flying bug. Got his pilot's license and bought a Carbon Cub FX3 November 27 Romeo Hotel.
I got to say, that's a great first airplane after you get your pilot's license. I just want to be real.
Might be just a little jealous.
Yeah, that's a nice. That's like starting. That's starting real well. All right, next up from San Diego, California. That's another long flight in a bush plane all the way up the coast. Race 222 at 1954 Piper Super Cub PA-18. It's Ryan Melendez.
Ryan Melendez calls himself a full-time airport bum, part-time airline pilot. Began his aviation career nearly 10 years ago at the age 17. He's also our turf tester from yesterday.
Yeah, put in some of the work there. Help us make sure things are safe and good. Folks, just a little note from the folks at the Moses Lake Airshow. If you're here in the crowd, please be sure to pick up after yourselves. It's not just about trash and cleanliness, it's also about safety. Airplanes and foreign object debris do not mix. A little can go a long way into damaging an aircraft, so please be sure to pick up after yourselves. We actually also want to make sure that if folks are chasing that garbage, we do appreciate you doing that, but do not chase garbage or trash out past that red line. It's for your own safety. You can't cross that red safety line and go into the competitive area or earlier in the show, the Airshow area. You can't do that. So let's do each other a favor and make sure we get all that garbage put away, so that we're not having any issues with aircraft and safety. Also, the wind, obviously, unforgiving with that. So really appreciate your help with that, everyone here at Moses Lake. Now, Ryan Melendez.
Let's go!
Is it fair to call that a hot boy takeoff? That was
I would
cool.
say so.
Ryan Melendez doing hot boy things in a vintage Cub. Just not messing around with that thing. He does have a little bit of unfair advantage. He flew off, like you mentioned, he flew on this turf yesterday.
Yes, turf tester.
Look at that beautiful red Cub.
Yeah.
That is the right color to paint an airplane.
And he's going to give it full power, bring that tail up. It's actually tail low So he can gain speed, but he's off.
Dude, so this is the best part of National STOL, right? As we go through the groups, the takeoffs get shorter and shorter and shorter. The airplanes get more powerful, they get lighter, and we see even more excitement. Okay, the Badlands Traveler now coming up to the line, flown by Mike Babcock. He's just flexing as he's taxiing up. Am I hearing some turbo action there?
Oh, yeah.
This airplane is brand new. It's got a Yamaha 998 turbo. That's why it sounds so cool, so different. The horsepower is currently unknown. And what just happened? Holy moly.
Okay.
That was a good one there.
What are we looking at? 60 feet? 65 feet, maybe?
Is that fair to call that hashtag bonkers?
Yep.
Here's the thing. 42 feet for Mike Babcock, folks. We've officially crossed, every time we got to talk about it, the – wait, what's – look at that. Okay, we're even super short. Little Rabbit just hopping into the air. Just a little cottontail action here in Washington. We've crossed that mythical line in the show already.
Yeah, sub-100s.
Where I say we have taken off shorter than the distance nose to tail of an F-14 Tomcat.
There we go.
Also, all my av geeks know RIP F-14 Tomcat.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the thing that happened in the last couple weeks.
Oh, no.
No more of those operational. Sad day.
No Persian cats.
I understand why.
But still.
We don't want to get into that.
Persian cats, though.
Yeah, but it was cool. They were cool. It was nice to know they were still doing work somewhere.
Yes.
Even if it wasn't. I've said too much. But RIP F-14. Okay, here we go. Ryan Melendez to the right. Good over the line. Very graceful. Just got to get it stopped now. By the way, we want to talk about Ryan Melendez's unfair advantage.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, his dad is the general manager of the West for AstroTurf. So when he was like, I'll go test out your artificial surface.
Oh, yeah.
He has a little bit of experience. Here comes the Carbon Cub. Little burst of power to get him over the line. Oh, he's not afraid to lock up those bush tires on the new surface. Just sliding on those fat boys. And that was a scratch for Thomas Taranowski. Nice takeoff, though, of 53 feet. Ryan Melendez landing, by the way, coming in at 111 for a combined score of 209.
All right, on approach, Mike Babcock. Ooh, give it a little power, bro. Give it a little power. You can see that that right wing trying to dip. Oh, and that's a scratch.
So using all that throttle to get up into the air, but that will be a scratch anyway because he did touch down before the line, but making the safe choice. And now, Cam, for all of our big talk about how safe we are in the booth, the dust has finally hit us as well.
Oh, man, yeah. It's a little gritty in here.
I'm just crying in laptop. Okay, so Mike Babcock's now back on down. Look at that thing haul, Cam. Look how fast that thing is for a bush plane. I mean, he's got so much. I love that he just is like horsepower unknown.
Yeah.
That turbo Sidewinder engine pushing that plane forward. Meanwhile, Lil Rabbit now on final approach, holding it off.
Ooh,
oh, I think he made it.
Was that good?
I think it was good. We're going frame by frame now. Watch that right main.
Oh, that's good.
That is good.
That is good all day.
For Lil Rabbit.
All right, let's go. Jeff Allen.
Another note in the chat I want to say here from Alicia Cook. Hi from Louisville. Ryan Snagowski is doing an awesome job. Ryan, I hope you can hear that. He says, "We miss you, Calvin and Laker."
I'm gonna have to correct you. It's not Louisville, it's Louisville.
Louisville. I'm from Wisconsin. Okay, here
Oh,
we go.
yeah.
Mike Babcock. Good over the line that time, but it's still going to be a scratch. Testing out the braking action in that Badlands Traveler, the BLT. Now, here's the thing. If you weren't here last year, you didn't watch last year, a very famous version of this airplane named Warhorse, flown by Jeff Daly.
Yeah.
We had heavier winds, but that airplane, new to the circuit, new wing type, purpose-built competitive aircraft, landed in 15 feet. And it blew up the entire National STOL circuit. Everyone had to adjust.
Yes.
It was the shot heard round the STOL circuit world here in Moses Lake. And we're hoping to see some of that again today. A little more wind on the nose for Dan Reynolds. Okay, they're taxiing back for another run through practice. Jeff Fallon, I love it. The little rabbit that could. He's got these fire-breathing beasts taxiing in front of him there. He's the only one on the board so far with a combined score of 178. Ryan Melendez also on the board with 209.
Let's go. Now you're talking about the Badlands Traveler and how it changed things here on the circuit at Moses Lake last year. It is my favorite aircraft in the circuit, and I love that innovation is happening, right? Like, we have the Badlands Traveler. It's gone through all of its iterations from when we first saw it, and it was called the Cessna Cub because it has a Cessna fuselage and Cub fuselage and a Cessna wing. Now that's all completely different. And now we've got all these different versions. We've got ones with the Yamaha 998, the same engine that Steve Henry is running. And then we've got others with Titans, and we've got others with Rotax. The Rotax 916 IS.
Right, that's a big technological change in STOL right now for sure.
Yeah, they all have different shaped tails. Like, everything's different with those aircraft, and that innovation is just pushing the activity. Ryan Melendez. Judges look like they're saying sub 100, somewhere around 92. We'll see what happens. And that Cub FX3 on the go. We're saying somewhere around 100 feet on that from the judges. All right, 99 feet for Ryan Melendez. And we'll get Thomas's numbers here in just a moment as Mike Babcock pulls up to the line in that electric blue Badlands Traveler, powered by the mighty Yamaha 998 Sidewinder. Same engine that Steve Henry is running. That tail's coming up and immediately leaves the ground.
What just happened? The BLT. What are we going to do with you, BLT? Okay, Lil Rabbit, just do a little floaty action. Sometimes you need a lot of horsies, sometimes you need a lot of lifties, and that wing's got a lot of lifties. That's the technical term.
A
lot of lifties on Little Rabbit lifties. Lifty the Little Rabbit.
From the Uppy Downies.
Yep. You got to work the uppy downy to make the go uppy all the timey wingy. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop.
Going to the chat. Jonathan Hawley in the chat asks, has Cleat ran yet? I don't know who Cleet is unless he's talking about Cletus McFarland.
Yeah, I don't. Not here.
I mean, he's not here.
Not here. No, not here.
Jonathan, who is Cleet? Ryan Melendez on short final with Goldie the Warrior plane. Oh, looks like a scratch from Ryan.
I gotta say, I don't know if I'm allowed to have, like, if I'm allowed to root for anybody as the announcer, but I'm always rooting for Ryan Melendez. He was hot on the circuit just last month. Oregon Trail STOL.
Yeah.
First time out, and I was just like a good dude.
Yeah, very impressive.
Just like flying for the airlines, doing his thing, just trying to be the best pilot he can be. I got a special place in my heart for someone who's willing to fly old vintage Super Cubs. So.
And Thomas gently putting it in. I mean, now there's no butter out there, but I think he found it.
Yeah, he found a little bit of butter. little butter.
A little margarine. Some oleo.
Some oleo? I mean, they did make struts.
Yeah.
That's a joke. Okay.
So you're from Wisconsin, isn't that
nerd joke?
Isn't that margarine? Isn't that a margarine
well,
brand?
there's a whole thing. You want to get some like the older people in Wisconsin riled up. You ask them about oleo.
Okay.
Yeah, because like dairy. You know.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Wow.
I got you.
Moving on. All right, so
Sore spot.
Things are heating up here in practice in Moses Lake, Washington. Here comes Mike Babcock, fire-breathing Yamaha.
Ooh, oh!
Hey, they said good.
Man.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's go to the replay, Cam.
So gentle. It was so gentle for such a beastly aircraft. Yeah, good all day.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good over the line. Mike Babcock, man, what is that guy going to do tomorrow? Like, what is up? Okay. That leaves Jeff Fallon and Lil Rabbit settling down in. Now, this Zenith, I was making jokes about lifties, uppies, downies, whatever. Let's get, like, serious for a second here. Check out the wing. Look at how thick that wing is.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
Whoa.
Getting a little sporty on the landing there.
He does have it stopped.
Let's watch this one on the replay. So look how thick that wing is. It gives all that lift. You can get real high angle of attack. Kind of yeets it over the line there.
Yeetosaurus.
Probably got a gust over the line there, but
yeah,
was hanging it out.
It's little, but it's mighty.
I like that. I like the little mighty approach.
Yes.
It's not too different from watching Hal Stockman fly against Steve Henry.
Yeah,
you've got
absolutely.
the lightness, the add lightness approach, combined with versus the heavy power approach. Well, they're taxiing back to the line, Cam. I want to talk about some of our other sponsors. iFly EFB, we want to thank them for all of their support. They're the complete EFB app for Android, iOS, and Windows. You can fly your freedom. It's different up here with iFly EFB. And then Fly Orca. The app Orca, O-R-K-A, Fly Orca, was created to help you achieve your aviation goals. You connect with community, discover training opportunities, and share your journey from tracking your improvements over time to reflecting on your progress and striving alongside your buddies, finding trusted instructors, and celebrating your aviation journey with familia and friends. We're here to keep your aviation fire burning strong. That's Fly Orca. You have a connection to them. You got to chat and meet.
Yeah, one of the CEO of the company, Adriana, who, if you have downloaded Fly Orca, you'll see her active in the app. She's given instruction. She's flying on her own. She was recently in some glider competitions. I mean, she's actively.
So she's putting in work just as an aviator in general.
Yeah, and goes by the Luscombe lady. So
there
she has
go back to Luscombe's.
Yeah.
It all ends in Luscombe's. Okay. Ryan Melendez getting ready for his next run here at practice in Moses Lake, Washington. A little bit less wind on the feather flags, and I got to tell you, it's making me a little sad. I want more wind on those flags.
Just a bit sad. But here we go. Ryan Melendez on the go. He doesn't care. It's going to be sub 100 anyways.
He's doing Super Cub things. There's a reason why they put Super in the name.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cubs, here's a brand new one. Thomas Tarnowski. That is a pretty bird.
It really is.
So he'll be waiting for release by the air bosses as Melendez turns crosswind. Here we go. Getting that power applied well and just floating it off. And it's funny, right, because that can be a little bit hard to do for the judges in competition. Sometimes they're looking for that aggressive pull, but if you've got the wind, like Tarnowski did just then, you just keep that tail down and full beans it all the way up into the sky in a plane like that. Okay, the fire breather, Mike Babcock. We didn't even talk about it. He had a 42-foot takeoff and a 46-foot takeoff. Landing down to 82 feet. What can he do?
Oh, come on. Is that going to be in the 30s?
Yeah, do you think 30s?
I mean, they're closer to, what are they, closer to 20 than...
Look at that. That is dumb. That is like, does not make sense.
3-7.
Like, I don't know, like, what are we even doing? Physics doesn't work here in Moses Lake for some reason. It's different here. Okay, look at Little Rabbit. Just flying into the sky. It's dumb.
Airplane.
I don't understand. My brain can't comprehend. All day today, not just during STOL. It's like, I am Brad Worston, blue, blue, blue. I'm like a human airplane blender. Like, what? Like, what? Now we've got this thing flying like this?
So, yeah, if you didn't catch that, that was 37 feet from Mike Babcock.
Too small. That number's too low.
You want it higher?
No, I'm just upset at how good it is.
We're going to wait and see what Jeff Vallon just did in Little Rabbit.
McJams in social just saying, surprise face emoji. I agree, McJams.
Yes.
Here comes Ryan Melendez. A short final.
Ooh. All right, he's going to give it a little power to get over the line. Oh! Was that good?
Calling it good.
Wow. Ryan Melendez.
Let's watch that. He's about to lose it, and he adds that throttle. Ooh,
that's a scratch.
We're going frame by frame just before the line for Ryan Melendez. And I don't know if anyone can help us with this, but so we have the entire C-17 West Coast demo team right in front of us, and they're cheering for everyone, which is amazing. I'm wondering if we could get them, like, number cards. Would you be open to that for tomorrow if you guys had number cards you'd hold up for everybody?
Thomas on short approach.
Sorry, Keith.
I'm sorry. On short final. He's way high.
Yeah, what is going on with that? Look at that maneuver.
It's going to pull power. We're going to. Oh, he looks like he's going to go around.
Yeah, really hovering up there. Now look at what happened with the flags.
Yeah.
Now we have a big old gust coming through.
A big old gust coming through with Jeff Vallon and Little Rabbit on approach here in a moment. We got Mike Babcock in the BLT. I was just trying to make a little correlation. Big gust, Little Rabbit.
I gotcha. It's opposites. Okay, here we go. Let's watch what he can do now.
Ooh!
Oh, man, I think he made it.
Yes,
working
I think
that
he did.
throttle. And it's sporty enough there after touchdown. That left wing came up a little bit.
Yep.
It's sporty enough. It's, man, Mother Nature here in Moses Lake giving us a little bit of a variability. Calling it good.
135 on that landing.
That is a little bit longer on the landing for him.
Yep.
His best so far, Mike Babcock's best, a combined score in practice of 128 feet. Jeff Vallon putting down very similar numbers. His best score so far down to 146 on that second run. Longer takeoff this time. Settling in, down low.
We'll see what he does with that flying fuselage. And right over the line.
Just kind of tapped that foot down on the left side.
Right. Yeah, it's going to put him sub 60.
Oh, a scratch for Lil Rabbit on that one. Okay, they're actively booing now. Race control, be careful. The Air Force is here and they want to talk to you. Okay, now we're back to Thomas Taranowski in that bright red, beautiful Cub.
It looks like we're gusting. So
yeah, gusting now. He's back down low now.
Yeah, let's go. Line judge saying, I don't know. Let's see what the replay says. That's a scratch.
No, that's a scratch as well.
Ah!
By about a foot. Just a foot before the line, that big, fat bush tire just touching down a little too soon.
Welcome to Scratchville.
And he's going to dust all the judges in protest.
Man, I am a big fan of that red.
Yeah, it's like the right shade of red,
Yeah.
right? It's just like it's the color you want.
Yes, it's Arkansas Razorback red. Go Hogs. Oh, yeah, yeah. I got you.
Are there thumbs upping and thumbs downing?
No.
No, all thumbs up?
Oh.
No, thumbs down. Okay. Okay. What do you guys think of the Wisconsin Badgers? There was like
you know, they're not SEC,
yeah, okay,
so we don't care.
Whatever. Okay, thumbs up. Thank you, John. Wisconsin Badgers, go Badgers. We are having a blast here at Moses Lake right now, folks. If you're just tuning in online, we're at the Moses Lake Air Show, where National STOL is part of the show, and we're hanging out with Air Show performers. We're having a great old time. It has been one heck of a day. If you are here in the crowd and you want to listen to it in a different way, 88.1. Oh, there's a wave.
Oh, we got a
happening.
wave.
Just had a wave. This is getting amped up right now. 88.1 on your FM dial if you're here in Washington with us. Ryan Melendez. All the horsepower that Super Cub can muster, and he is off quite short. Give it a little dust, all that volcanic ash from years ago blowing into the breeze. And look at that, Cam. Look at the wind. We might be back on in World Recordville in a little bit. Look at that wind on the nose. What can Thomas Taranowski do? His best takeoff, 53 feet so far.
And here he goes. Tail up. I mean,
right around 100 feet.
It's just so smooth and gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah, right around 100 feet.
Silky?
Silky smooth.
Maybe.
All right.
All right. Now, this is the news story for the day. Babcock. That thing just sounds angry.
Yeah, that turbo and everything just working. I mean, that is a very reliable snowmobile engine. It's been modified, not highly modified.
We don't even know what it can do yet. Oh my gosh.
Come on.
That may have been sub 25 feet.
I mean, was that shorter than its fuselage is long?
That maybe was. Can we go to the replay on that race control? That was absolutely bonkers. It literally, the mains were off before the tail wheel was across the line, and the tail wheel was off the ground about at the line. So it did basically take off in one plane length. Little Rabbit.
Let's go, Jeff.
Down. Oh, settling. No,
yeah,
you got it.
Let's
nice.
go.
It'll buff out later. Just crank that tail down into the ground. That was a good one.
Yo.
That takeoff for Mike Babcock, folks, a jaw-dropping 32 feet, which I guess is about how long his airplane is.
Yeah.
And that takeoff also, Jeff Fallon, his best of practice so far with 44 feet.
He was shaking hands with ground effect there. I mean, they were in cahoots. And Ryan Melendez and Goldie on short final.
Ooh, a little bit of a wing drop there. He's got it recovered, working that rudder.
Yep, got a little gusting happening right now.
Yeah. There we go. Is it fair, Cam, to call that one textbook?
I would say it's textbook.
Textbook Super Cub landing?
Textbook Super Cup landing, textbook short field operations.
By the way, you called me out on how I pronounce Louisville. Louisville?
Louisville.
Louisville. The people that I know from there are now in the chat upset with me that I pronounced it wrong. So that's
sorry.
great. Okay, here we go. Thomas Taranowski.
Ooh,
working those wings.
Come
Get
on.
that wing up. There we go.
Yep.
Oh,
man.
Thomas Taranowski.
But that's okay, right? This is practice.
It's practice. Got to get it figured out. And look at that wind howling back. What if you are Dan Reynolds? What are you thinking right now?
You're thinking World Recordsville right now.
Think it's close?
I think it's close. It may not be 40 down the runway, 40 knots down the runway, but I mean, like, geez, he's going to be able to perform today.
Look at this thing go now. Look at Mike Babcock working that power he's got from the Yamaha, totally using that thrust.
Ooh.
Now, this is I don't want to say it's a problem because that was very nice. He got over the line, but you heard that huge burst of power he used to get over the line.
Yep.
The turbo blow-off was a nice touch, by the way. That's just like good for style points. But as you're pushing that airplane forward with all of that thrust, what do you have to do at the back end of it? You got to get heavy on the brakes. So you got over the line, but at what cost?
Yeah. Well, he did get over the line, as we saw in the replay. No, what we used to call the little rubber bits, we used to call them turf turds.
Can we call them that? It's a family show.
I mean, I just did. So
okay, yeah, we're committed now.
All right, and slap the turf dust.
Maybe that's the safer way to say it.
All right.
So the turf dust doesn't lie. Jeff Fallon now coming in, and Lil Rabbit. That takeoff is best, banging the tail on the ground. He's working it. Get over the line, I think. Judge doesn't know.
Take it to the replay. Let's see.
Sub 100-foot landing.
Ooh. I kind of missed that.
They're calling that a scratch.
Scratch.
Our ears going scratch. They were disappointed by it too, and they're the judges. That's a bummer for Jeff Fallon. That would have been his shortest. So that's a bummer for him. And look at the story for tomorrow, folks. Mike Babcock, one to watch with that new fire-breathing beast. Thomas Taranowski, I'm not convinced, Cam, we've seen all we can see out of him. And Ryan Melendez putting in sub-70-foot numbers in that old Piper Super Cub. So we are going to take a short break and be back with more still action at the Moses Lake Airshow right after this. Special Special thanks to our annual sponsors: Legend Aircraft, Clemens Insurance, Behringer Aero, Sarasota Avionics, Lift Aviation USA, Flying Eyes Optics, Red Tag Art, Legendary Aviation Coffee Company, iFly EFB by Adventure Pilot, Tundra Tailwheel, Fly Orca.
And we are back in Moses Lake, Washington at National STOL at the Moses Lake Airshow. And I don't know. You see that guy right there in that airplane? You know, he looks a little familiar. I think we're waiting for him to do some things here. With a little bit of the gusting winds that we have. I think he's looking forward to producing some cool numbers that might end up resulting in a world record. Mr. Dan Reynolds.
That's Dawson. It's not Dawson. From Dawson in Yukon, Canada. It's race number 9, a 1983 Chinook Valdez special. Give it up for Dan Reynolds. Looking for that world record today, maybe?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Let's
Over
go.
6,000 hours on the 4 Chinooks he owns, just like this. Next up, from Elko, Nevada, race number 3. It's a 2024 Badlands Vaquero. Check out the canards on the front. Give it up for Hal Stockman.
This is a rebuild of Lawnmower 4. The tail from the original was recovered, and then he added a canard very recently. We're going to see how that's going to perform for us today. And I said a canard, I meant canards with an S. And he's getting taxied in position right now. Looks like he's going to go first. Dan's going to go second. Dan's giving them a wide berth because even though we are on turf, there is still volcanic ash out there being blown, and it is a little abrasive.
Now you got to wonder how much communication these two are going to do to each other. They're both pretty good team players, and I kind of wonder if Hal's going to go first and say, here's what's going on, bud. Here's what you need. Here's what you need right now.
Yeah.
Hal is taxiing up to the line now in the Vaquero. How cool to have the Long EZ during the air show, and now another canard-based, well, not totally canard. It's got 3 it's got 3 lifting surfaces here.
Yeah.
He's going to get those flaps dropped. Hal Stockman ready to go. Watching the wind. Nuts.
Come on.
That was nuts. Okay, so we're sub 50 feet, and I'm not even convinced that's all Hal can give it. I think he might be able to go even harder.
That's takeoff number 1.
That's just number 1. We got 3 more to go today here in practice. Moses Lake now.
Anticipation.
Oh. I have been hoping for, like we literally said to Dan, if you want wind, come to Moses Lake. Get your cameras out, folks. This every takeoff and landing this guy does is going to be something special. Spooling it up. Oh, it's off so short. They don't even know where to look.
Yeah.
That airplane, powered by a Rotax 670, it weighs 1,050 pounds, empty weight of 540 pounds. It's got those Goodyear Smooth Classics on it. It's got slats, VGs, and too many other mods to list. But if you listen to the engine, that'll be one little hint as it comes around. Hal Stockman now turning base to final.
Hal Stockman's last takeoff, 42 feet. Dan Reynolds, 37 feet.
37 feet on that takeoff. Now, to get the world record, I think he's got to get combined sub 25, yes?
Oh, I don't know what the shortest takeoff and shortest landing is.
Sub 24 feet, I think.
I think you're right, yeah.
So he's going to have to shorten it up a lot today to hit that. Okay, here comes Hal Stockman now.
Oh!
A little too early for Hal Stockman. Getting those flaps retracted anyway.
He's just getting it dialed in. He's going to figure it out.
Pat McIntyre is in the chat. He would normally be competing against these two. Not making the trip up to Washington today, but will be on the circuit later, saying, fun seeing more Badlands coming out. I'm guessing he saw Mike Babcock's performance and is mentioning that to us. Now, look. Look at Dan Reynolds.
Just floating down. I mean, and look at the runway. We've got lots of dust heading his way, so we've got a gust. And he's just creeping it in. You can hear him modulating the throttle. Ooh!
Stop.
Oh!
Okay,
Judge
first
saying
landing. We are shorter than the airplane is long on the first landing here in practice for Dan Reynolds. That is insane.
That is, I don't even know what to say right now.
So think about what is happening there with that airplane, right? You've got a big lifty wing.
Yep.
You got a lot of power in a little light package, a light airplane. As we've watched Dan Reynolds compete in the circuit, he always says, all I need is good wind, and I'm competitive against the fire breathers.
Yeah.
Because he can take them on landing almost 100% of the time. Beat Steve Reynolds even. Steve Reynolds. I just combined the two STOL greats that I was talking about. Beat Steve Henry at Ontario, Oregon for Oregon Trail STOL. Okay. Here comes Hal Stockman, ready for round 2. Time to fight.
Yeah, we go from seeing all these other aircraft with huge tires and then these tiny tires here.
A bite out of it. There
Come on, let's go.
Style points got the attention of the C-17 team. They're mowing. He was mowing the turf a little bit there almost.
Yeah, looking for pennies.
He's not afraid of it. Look at that. Dan Reynolds pusher prop, which if you're an av geek or a pilot, you know that is a whole different set of factors when you're piloting an airplane like that.
Hal Stockman's takeoff was 32 feet.
32 feet, so Hal Stockman shorter than Dan Reynolds. What was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
An elevator? Go away, Dan. Fly away. Go further away. He can't even get away in this wind. So that was a thing that just happened, and now they're literally, the judges are looking at, I'm guessing they're using video judging here. You can see them looking at the phone they have out there to make sure that they're getting the exact right footage. Look at the judges conferring there. Looking at the video recording to make sure that it's accurate. waiting for the score to come in now. Hal Stockman, like Cam mentioned, 32 feet. That's bonkers. We're in Insaneville.
Yeah.
We're in the upside down.
We're in the shortest takeoffs of the day.
We're in the shortest takeoffs maybe of the season. I mean, well, these numbers could potentially hold.
Yeah.
All season with the wind that we have here. Okay, Hal Stockman now. Coming in. Floating her down.
Ooh.
Good over the line for Hal Stockman. I'm going to call it. We'll see if Racing Control disagrees. Here we go in the replay. Watch this one. Good over the line for Hal Stockman. Could not have been closer to the line.
He puts it up for 96 feet combined total. 32-foot takeoff, 64-foot landing, 96 feet combined. That's what Dan.
So Hal Stockman now could take off and land shorter than the wingspan of a C-17.
Yeah. Yep, we got dust flying down the runway. Means a gust. And Dan Reynolds on short approach.
Dan's takeoff, a jaw-dropping 21 feet. He's got some wind on the nose. Hovering it in. Hovering it in.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, Dan.
Oh, it gave
a little
up.
bit long for Dan Reynolds on that one. Oh, he's got 2 more chances at it today. Ooh.
Oh, no.
We got a little bit of a wing touch there for Dan Reynolds. We're going to have to do a little bit of an inspection on that aircraft. The wind is blowing hard enough that on that 180 turn, picked up a wing. We're going to let him taxi back under his own power here.
It looks like he's going to taxi. He's going to taxi off the runway. We're going to be yellow flag.
Shutting down the aircraft now to take a look to see if any damage was done to that wingtip. That's the winds we're working with here at Moses Lake, though, and that's also how lifty, that's the technical term, how lifty that wing is, and frankly, how light of an aircraft that is. So shut down there for Dan Reynolds as we're under a yellow flag inspecting that aircraft. Hal Stockman also shut down, just waiting his turn. And that is woof.
Woof.
That is, I don't know what else to say about that. Checking the ailerons right now. Right now, Dan Reynolds with a 62-foot combined score, 21-foot landing, 21-foot takeoff, 41-foot landing. 62 feet is insane in its own right. But he's out for glory against Frank Knapp's record in Lil Cub.
Yeah. And that 41-foot landing, I mean, he gave up. He gave up.
At least a plane length.
I mean, yeah. So,
So we need to talk a little bit about experimental aircraft in this moment, right? We have these planes are home built, for lack of a better term, or experimental.
Yes. Right.
What that means is, as the builder, you can work on the plane yourself. They're not held to the same rigorous standards as a FAA certificated airplane.
Right.
A lot of the airplanes that you saw demonstrate during the air show also experimental, right?
Right.
The Pitts, it's a home-built design. The Long Easy, that aircraft was built by someone laying up that fiberglass by themselves, probably in their hangar, in their garage, right? So that is what's happening in these aircraft. You have the ability to self-inspect, self-maintain the aircraft versus having an A&P. Because of that, Dan Reynolds can maintain his own aircraft and make that judgment. So after that wingtip touch, Dan Reynolds can go out and inspect that airplane, and I trust him implicitly in making sure that it's a safe airplane. He can verify that there's no structural damage.
Yep, we got some
And he
judges chasing him. We're going to have wing walkers for him now.
Yeah, doing wing waters, but wing walkers now for Dan Reynolds. Giving a look at that pirouette that he did there. Yeah, that good hustle by that wing walker. So Dan has inspected the plane. He said it is safe. I'm certifying that it's safe as the maintainer of that aircraft, and I'm going to give it a go again.
Let's go.
Hal Stockman now up, getting ready on the line. Let's look at our weather cam.
All right, we got 17 gusting 24 knots from the 230. I mean, it is, woo, as we can see, as we saw just moments ago. But we're hoping that wind is going to give us a world record with Dan Reynolds. Hal Stockman on the go.
Tail up, tail down, leaping into the air.
Sub 50 feet. Well, sub of 50. This parallax is killing me right now, but it's looking like it's just a little bit over 30 feet.
The world record Lil Cub, what we're trying to unseat right now, Frank Knapp, who's actually flown in National STOL. But he's a legend. 2017, the takeoff was 13 feet 8 inches, and the landing 10 feet 5 inches. Dan Reynolds spooling up that Rotex, giving it a go.
Seeing what the judges are saying.
Will it be better than 21 feet, though?
That didn't look better than 21 feet, but it's close. 28 feet.
28 foot takeoff and landing. So that will not be good enough for the world record, because we are at 24 feet 1 inch.
Combined.
If I'm not mistaken, is the combined world record.
Okay.
So could have done it. That's what I want to point out. Could have done it on that second run with a 21-foot takeoff, because Dan can land, as we already have seen, shorter than the airplane is long. So if he lands it up just right.
Yeah.
Hal Stockman now hovering in. The wind getting stronger here in the booth.
Except right wing dipping just a little bit. He's got it stabilized. Oh, it looks like it's going to be a scratch.
Short for Hal Stockman.
Scratch.
McJams is giving a lot of great social one-liners right now. Helicopters in disguise, 100% McJams. Katrina, this is insane. Holy heck. Yes, Katrina, it is insane.
Hey, Miss Katie Skibba, my girlfriend, saying, "Go Dan." And here he is right now on short final, modulating that throttle.
Come on, Dan.
Working the rudder, doing all the right things. Ooh!
No, just a little short for Dan Reynolds
come
on that one. And he's talking about getting the wing walkers again to bring him around. Got a hustle on that wing. Love that. Okay, so a scratch for Dan Reynolds on his third run. One final attempt today for Dan Reynolds to get this record in the books. While he does that, I'm going to switch tone for just a second. We're in Pacific time right now.
Yep.
My girls at home are in Central time, and it is their bedtime. So Elaine and Emily, good night, sweet dreams. Daddy loves you. Keep watching as long as Mommy will let you. It's fine. I say it's fine. As long as Mommy's fine, I'm fine. That's how this works. A happy Mommy, happy Daddy. But, like, you just watch as long as Mom will let you, but good night, and thanks for watching. Daddy loves you. Okay, back to the action. Hal Stockman whipping it around, ready to go. Here comes Hal, taxiing up to the line. Now, Cam, is he adjusting the angle of attack of that canard between runs?
I don't know. I've been trying to look at it and see, but it's so far away. All right, let's see what he's going to do for us.
There we go.
Whoa!
That was worth every bit of the round of applause it received.
Yeah, it looks like it's sub 25 from
He's
the judges.
getting it dialed in now, too. So far, his best takeoff was 32 feet. Let's see what this one comes in at. Dan Reynolds, 25-foot takeoff for Hal Stockman.
Let's go.
Dan Reynolds on the line, watching the flags, spooling up that Rotax. Here we go, Dan Reynolds. Wind over the wing, yanking it back.
See what the judges are saying, somewhere around 40 feet.
Look at how slowly Dan Reynolds is climbing out. I mean, the winds aloft are doing something too, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got to get up into that real quick. But so that is going to be a 25-foot takeoff for Hal Stockman, and regrettably a 39-foot takeoff for Dan Reynolds. So that will put an end to the world record attempts today. We didn't quite get there. We got really dang close. And now what we need to do is hold on for more wind tomorrow to give Dan Reynolds that Moses Lake mojo.
Yeah. Hal Stockman bringing her in for the last time today. Just a little throttle modulation. Good over the line.
Nice one for Hal Stockman. Now, what you're seeing, folks, too, is this is the unlimited class here at Moses Lake. These are the airplanes that kind of anything goes, right? As long as it flies, as long as it's an airplane, anything goes. And that's why you can see an airplane like Hal's with the canards on the front. As long as it's an airplane, I think it counts. Here comes Dan Reynolds now. He's been accused of not being an airplane on the internet.
It does say that on the side of his plane.
Look at him fly. Look at him hover in right now. Dan Reynolds dialing it in.
Woo!
Plopping it down so short. Yes!
Was that it? Was that the chop, plop, and drop it?
That may have been the classic Dan Reynolds chop, plop, and drop. Losing the lift right there on the replay. Good over the line. Tail touching down well before it. And just heavy on the brakes on that turf. What a show by Dan Reynolds there. Best combined score for him in practice. 62 feet combined. Not quite into the world record area we'd hoped, but still nothing to sneeze at as we wrap up practice today here in Moses Lake, Washington. I want to make sure we thank a few more of our sponsors before we wrap up today. We need to say a big thanks to Sarasota Avionics, Tundra Tailwheel, and Behringer Brakes and Wheels. Really appreciate all of their support to get this series out to you at home worldwide. We had worldwide viewers here from Moses Lake and a big crowd at the Moses Lake Air Show. Tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Competition will be kicking off just a little bit after that, so tune in at 3. That's when things will start to come together for competition tomorrow. I gotta pull up the forecast to see what I want. I want more shots at this for Dan.
I do.
I want more wind on the nose.
He said that it probably won't be, but we're gonna hope for.
I'm gonna remain glass half full for Dan Reynolds on this one, but you've got a whole bunch of aircraft that are gonna be competing tomorrow for glory here in Moses Lake, Washington. It has been, Cam, what a practice day.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a day, just
full
in
air
general.
show. STOL
and by
practice.
the way, if you're in Moses Lake or anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, make a trip here to Moses Lake, Washington. Things kick off. I think doors open at 9. RC starts flying at 10 tomorrow.
Yeah, let's go.
So come check that out as well. Folks, it has been an absolute honor to be with you all day today. Thank you so much for watching. It has been a blast. Fly safe. We'll see you tomorrow.